Imagine a world where any person at any moment can burst into living flame. They lose their minds and become monsters called Infernals, and only one force stands against them. One boy fights the fire with fire, igniting flames straight out of his own feet. The whole world looks at him and calls him a devil, though he swears he will make every last one of them call him a hero instead. This is the entire story of Fire Force, Season 1. In this world, people don't just die. Sometimes they burst into flame from the inside, lose every trace of who they were, and become raging monsters called Infernals. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, at any moment. Tonight it's a train, and a whole station is running for their lives. And when a monster made of fire appears, only one group answers the call. The Special Fire Force. A lieutenant named Hinawa moves in to end it, while his sister prepares to pray. Because they don't just kill the monster. They believe an infernal is a trapped, suffering soul. So they destroy the glowing core, keeping it alive, and lay that soul to rest. Ashes to ashes, back to the great flame. But the blast throws his sister toward the fire, and out of nowhere, a stranger dives in and catches her. He grins and introduces himself. Shinra Kusakabe, newest member of Special Fire Force Company 8 as of today. He's a third-generation pyrokinetic, which means he doesn't just resist fire. He creates it, igniting flames straight out of his feet. The world gave that power a nickname, the Devil's Footprints. His new home turned out to be a rundown old church they call Special Fire Cathedral 8. His first honest thought? What a dump. Inside he meets the captain, Akitaru Obi, a mountain of muscle with no fire powers at all, just guts. And the lieutenant from the station, the ice-cold Takehisa Hisawa. Then Obi holds up Shinra's ID photo, where he's grinning like a maniac and asks what's wrong with him. And Shinra explains the curse he's lived with his whole life. When he gets nervous, his face does this.
Sorry about that. Just wanted to see for myself. You get it. I bet that cute little quirk gets you in a lot of trouble.
True. It's caused a few misunderstandings.
Man, your poker face must be something else.
When Obi asks why he joined, Shinra doesn't blink. He came here to be a hero, but Hinawa isn't sold. Word is, they call this kid a devil back at the academy, over something that happened when he was a child. Meanwhile, the company's powerhouse, Makiyose, is busy teasing the sister, Iris, about being swept off her feet by the new guy like a princess.
I just did what any hero would.
Wow, he really is the one! This is a time for love!
That night, Obi lays out what they're really up against. Nobody knows when spontaneous human combustion will strike, or who it'll take. So Company 8 exists to put Infernals to rest, to protect the living, and to uncover the truth behind why humans are catching fire at all. For Shinra, this is bigger than a job. He doesn't just want to be a hero. He has to be. And to understand why, you have to go back 12 years. A fire took his mother and his baby brother Sho. There was nothing left of Sho at all. And because Shinra was a third generation who shoots fire, the world decided he must have done it and branded him a devil. Even the adults who should have protected him turned him away. But Shinra knows what he saw that night. Something else was inside those flames. Something that wasn't his family. He swears he'll find out what it was. Never since that day, he's never been able to smile for real again. Then the alarm tears through the church. A new infernal has appeared, the wife of a factory manager, and the whole company has 30 seconds to move. They pile into their armored fire truck, the matchbox, and tear across the city. Hinawa turns to the rookie with a challenge. This is your chance to be a hero. At the scene, the woman's husband is on his knees, begging them to bring her peace. Iris begins the prayer, and Company 8 charges into the blaze. But deep inside the fire, Shinra locks up. The flames drag him straight back to the night he lost everything, and for a moment, he can see his mother and Sho in the smoke. Hinawa drags him back to reality with the rule every fire soldier lives by. The blue stripes on their uniforms tie them together in the smoke, and you never break them. Fear is fine. Fear keeps you sharp. Just don't let it make you run. Knocked flat by the heat, Shinra almost stays down, but Meiki hauls him up, calling him by the nickname he hates most, Devil, and something in him refused to prove them right. The plan is simple and brutal. Hinawa and Maki will draw the Infernal's attention, and Shinra ends it in a single strike with those feet of his. As he moves in, the guilt hits him. He promised to keep his family safe, and he couldn't. Mom, Sho, I'm sorry. But this time, he swears he'll keep a different promise. And he makes his choice out loud. He is not a devil. He's gonna be a hero. He lights his feet up with everything he's got and launches like a rocket. One devastating strike shatters the Infernal's core, and the fire that had refused to let anyone in finally dies. Iris finishes the prayer, return to the great flame. The woman's soul is at peace. Her husband learns his wife passed without suffering thanks to the rookie, and breaks down in tears of gratitude. And as the crowd cheers the fire force into the night, Obi tells Shinra the truth. The boy they called a devil just took his very first step toward becoming a hero. In this world, the death people fear most is death by fire. And on this day, a strange young man walks up to a rundown church and proudly calls it his castle. Company 8 is about to meet its loudest new recruit yet. The Rookie Fire Soldier Games are coming up, a contest where this year's new recruits face off with their abilities. Captain Obi tells Shinra that he and one more rookie arriving today will represent Company 8, and that the captain himself will be there to cheer them on. The new recruit turns out to be someone Shinra already knows, and the two square off the second they lay eyes on each other. One calls the other a devil, the other calls him a damn knight, and they take it outside. Up on the roof, Maki Oze bends fire to her will like it is nothing, but she stays humble about it. As a second generation, she can shape flames, yet unlike a third generation like Shinra, she needs a fire starter to create them in the first place.
The realm knows me as Arthur Boyle, the Night King. Might you be the princesses of this castle?
Huh? Who, me?
The knight is Arthur Boyle, and Shinra knew him back at the academy. Shinra spills the truth. He once told Arthur that knights were wussier than heroes, so Arthur simply tacked king onto knight. He is a total idiot who plays at being cool and quiet only because he is too dense to think of anything to say. And yet, somehow, he is still popular. Lieutenant Hinawa storms in and douses the sparks with a simple rule. Fire soldiers do not play with fire. Arthur greets his new lieutenant like an equal, insisting everyone is equal before the round table, which lands about as well as you would expect. With the rookie games close, Hinawa wants to see what the two of them can do, and orders Maki to take on both rookies at once. It sounds unfair until he reminds everyone that Maki is an ex-soldier who knows exactly how to destroy a man. It is a slaughter. Shinra's overconfidence gets him flattened, and even Arthur's prized plasma blade Excalibur cannot lay a scratch on her. Maki, now crowned the witch, snuffs out both their flames and twists their fire into a goofy little mascot. The two proud rookies have no choice but to surrender. To lick their wounds, Captain Obi treats the whole squad to ramen, and Shinra and Arthur turn it into an eating contest. Obi is so easygoing about everything that Shinra starts to quietly wonder if anything could ever actually make the captain angry. They tour the arsenal. There is the Type 7 firefighting axe which fires a sacred spike from its end, but Arthur waves it off. He has his Excalibur and needs nothing else. The gear is brutally heavy, over 30 kilos every time they head out, and the company badly needs an engineer to take the load off the lieutenant. Then the alarm tears through the church. An Infernal has appeared in the Iria district. On the way, Hinawa briefs them. This is a house fire in close quarters, so Shinra should take the Type 7. And there is one hard rule. Keep your weapons hidden inside your coats and never display them in public. The fire scene is eerily quiet. A young girl watches, terrified, whispering that she is next. Her mother infernalized 2 years ago, and now the flames have taken her father too. Obi's order is gentle. Let's lay this one to rest nice and easy, for her sake. When Arthur flaunts Excalibur out in the open, Hinawa lays into him and Obi drives the lesson home. An Infernal was once a human being. Whatever they call it, what they are really doing is ending somebody's dear family right in front of the people left behind. Never show your weapons to the grieving. You cannot do that. You have no place in this unit. But something is wrong with this fire. The flames shift and twist as if they are sneering at the crew. Behavior no mindless Infernal should be capable of. When they move in, they find the Infernal simply sitting there, quietly, as if it were waiting for them. Why is this happening? Shinra asks to be the one to lay him to rest. Obi hesitates since the Infernal has not attacked, but Shinra insists. The man is trapped inside those flames, enduring unimaginable pain, and they have to put him out of his misery fast. Iris speaks the prayer, and they send his soul back to the Great Flame. In the quiet afterwards, Hinawa asks Shinra if it hurt. It did. And Hinawa tells him that is exactly how it should feel, because the most terrifying thing in this job is the day you finally get used to it. Then the whole scene erupts. The building starts caving in around them out of nowhere. Someone is doing this on purpose. A mock voice drifts through the smoke, saying there is something funny afoot in the Special Fire Force, and that all of this is just a little joke. Obi comes out shaken but unhurt. Someone deliberately targeted them and desecrated a fire scene still full of a family's memories. So he makes a promise. He will catch whoever did this, no matter what it takes. The orphan girl is left believing she will burn one day too. Obi kneels beside her and gives her the truth she needs. Her father faced the flames and won, and both her parents surely died shielding her from the fire. That is what he chooses to believe. That night, the two rivals lie awake. In his blunt, ridiculous way, Arthur tells the devil to go to sleep, insisting he is only showing a little knightly compassion. And as Shinra stares into the dark, his resolve hardens. They have to put a stop to this spontaneous human combustion, and they have to do it fast. Somewhere in the shadows, a mysterious figure is studying Special Fire Force Company 8 and the devil in its ranks. He digs up their captain, Akitaru Obi, decorated twice as a fireman and stripped of those honors twice, both times for disobeying orders to save lives. The 8th, he decides, is a different animal from every other company, and it fascinates him. The Rookie Fire Soldier games have arrived, where every company shows off its new recruits. Loudest of them all is Tamaki Kotatsu, a second-class fire soldier and third-generation pyrokinetic who is very sure she's about to steal the show. Then Shinra spots a face he can't ignore, the captain of the first. 12 years ago, this man was there, so Shinra chases him down to ask about the fire that took his family. But the captain says he has no time to chat and walks off.
Yes, Fire Force Company 8, sir. Shinra Kusakabe. Sorry, mind if I ask some questions? It's about that fire 12 years ago.
I'm afraid I haven't got time to chat right now. Good luck.
I just need a sec.
Watch it! Who exactly do you think you are talking to my captain?
Shinra corners the captain one more time. Instead of answering, the man asks if the rookie even knows how many fires break out in a year, then brushes him off again. Shinra is now certain of one thing. This captain is hiding something. The rules drop. The recruits will storm a building rigged to simulate a fire, clear the obstacles, rescue the people trapped inside, and race to be first to reach the crewman playing the part of an infernal. And with that, the games begin. While everyone else climbs, Shinra just lights his feet and flies straight up the tower. His rival Arthur cries foul, muttering that this is exactly why he hates devils, and tears after him swinging his plasma blade Excalibur. But someone got there first. A strange man is waiting at the top, and he's already taken out the crewman in the way. He calls Shinra by his nickname, Devil's Footprints, and dangles the one thing Shinra can't refuse. Does he want to know the truth about that fire 12 years ago? The man knows everything. The fire that killed Shinra's mother and baby brother, the day the world branded him a devil. When Shinra demands to know who he is, the man just smiles, and since he can't have the rookie's full attention, he decides to kill the two injured crewmen instead. Shinra screams at him to stop and throws everything he has into the fight. The man tells him to show how many moves he can last, scatters a strange black ash into the air, and picks Shinra apart with ease. Surprisingly easy, he says. With Shinra beaten, the man moves to finish a crewman, and even staring down death, the kid still can't stop smiling. That earns a reward. His first hint about the fire. Your younger brother, the man says, is still alive. Show, the baby Shinra watched burn, bones and all, might never have died at all. The man hints that someone has buried the truth, then makes his real pitch. Give up on being a hero and join him as a devil to find it. Shinra spits the offer back and swears to take him in for hurting those crewmen, but his flying kick leaves him wide open and the man blasts him away with sheer explosive power. Meanwhile, Arthur, still stuck playing the Infernal, senses the danger and blunders straight into the fight. Shinra tells him to run and warn the captains outside, but the self-styled knight refuses to take orders and charges the intruder himself, determined to win the games. The man swats Arthur aside and turns the whole thing into a test. If Shinra insists on being a hero, then let him try to save every last person in the building. He scatters more of his ashes to blow the place apart, and vanishes, leaving only a name. If Shinra ever wants the truth, he can come find the Joker. The whole floor is about to blow. Arthur carves an escape through the ceiling, insisting only a princess can give a knight orders, and Shinra grabs everyone at once as the building comes apart. And he answers the Joker's question out loud. Fire soldiers are heroes. They plummet toward the ground, and out of nowhere the captain of the first catches them all. His name is Burns, and he carries the two hurt crewmen safely down while Arthur is left to freefall on his own. Outside, the facility empties out. Captain Burns thanks Shinra by name and admits the rookie did well. Tamaki can't believe it either. He saved all 4 people in there, which, in her book, makes him a hero. And Burns tells Obi he's got a good man on his hands. Back at Company 8, Shinra reports the man who could set off explosions with a mysterious powder, blasts that looked exactly like a fire scene from days earlier. The man clearly knew something. So Shinra asks a question that's been eating at him. Is the Special Fire Force hiding something? Obi levels with him. The Fire Force was stitched together from 3 powers, the Holy Soul Temple, the Tokyo Armed Forces, and the Fire Defense Agency, and each one pulls the strings at different companies. At the 5th, the real muscle is Hajime Industries, who make all their gear and hold them by the throat. Worse, every company hoards what it learns about human combustion and shares nothing. Then Obi reveals what the 8th is really for. The Fire Defense Agency strong-armed it into existence and filled it with people they could trust, so it could investigate companies 1 through 7 and pull out the truth. Because someone in the Fire Force already knows what turns people into Infernals, and Obi means to find it and save lives. Shinra doesn't hesitate. He asks to help with the investigation, and Obi tells him he's glad he called the kid into the 8th. Somewhere across the city, a hidden command room is quietly hacking fire alarms to keep the public in the dark while it hunts a target. It belongs to Special Fire Force Company 5, whose captain crunches away between orders and calls Company 8 nothing but gravel underfoot. She has decided she wants a certain infernal for herself, no matter whose jurisdiction she has to step on. The next morning at Company 8, the news says nothing about yesterday's attack, or the masked man called Joker. Shinra figures that if he sticks close to Joker, he can finally get closer to the truth about human combustion, and the night he lost his mom and his little brother show. Then a grim report lands. The ashes Joker used to blow up their training facility turn out to be infernal ashes, the remains of the dead themselves. Using the bodies of the fallen like this disgusts the whole company, and it weighs on Shinra most of all. To shake off the gloom, Maki hands Shinra and Arthur an easy job. A dog is stuck up a tree and needs rescuing, except when they climb up, it is not a dog at all. It is a grown man named Mamoru-kun, clinging to a branch. Mamoru got chased up there by college kids, because these days people love to pick on firefighters. It all traces back to one man, Setsuo Miyamoto, a firefighter who murdered 4 people, and whose verdict is being handed down today. Word on the street is he will walk free on an insanity plea, and that is exactly what happens. The court finds Miyamoto not guilty, and the room erupts. But before the outrage can boil over, Miyamoto bursts into flame from the inside and becomes an infernal, screaming that he will kill every last one of them. Only this infernal is different. It still talks. It still thinks. Word reaches Captain Obi. An infernal in Ono district has kept its sense of self. Over at Company 5, that same detail makes their captain lean in and purr that she wants him, whatever it takes. And Obi suddenly realizes 2 of his rookies are already out there. Maki tears after Shinra and Arthur, half apologizing and half panicking, as Hinawa calls in the emergency. An infernal is loose, and Company 8 needs its people at the scene right now.
Not ahead! Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I'm coming with you. Hi-ho, Silver!
No way. Are you serious right now? What's wrong with you? Oh, whatever.
And now it gives them the rundown. A murder defendant at the UNO courthouse has turned infernal and is attacking people. He tells the 2 rookies to get to the scene fast, because saving lives comes before anything else. At the courthouse, the infernal that was Miyamoto is playing with his own lawyer. He sneers that since he once saved lives than a firefighter, this man's life now belongs to him to do with whatever he pleases. Shinra and Arthur crash in, furious that this creep is the reason Mamoru got bullied. Miyamoto mocks them as a murderous gang of fake heroes, then throws up his hands and surrenders, insisting a court already ruled him innocent so they cannot touch him. Shinra is not buying it. He is not kind enough to pardon scum. Miyamoto laughs that he will spend his days murdering people the way the Fire Force murders Infernals. Obi orders Shinra to run him down, the only one fast enough. Shinra freezes because this thing still has a mind. But Obi is firm. The man is no longer human. Put him to rest. Shinra wrestles with it and makes his choice. If he does nothing, more innocent people get hurt. So he swears he will do it himself and lay this Infernal to rest. In Akihabara, Shinra catches him mid-rampage. The Infernal brags that all the lives he saved as a firefighter cancel out the ones he takes now, and Shinra tears the logic apart before overpowering him completely. Staring up at this unstoppable rookie, Miyamoto gasps that he must be the devil. Shinra answers, wrong, he is a hero. As Shinra moves to finish it, Company 5 watches from the shadows, noting a second flash of the Adola burst inside him and marking the rookie as the real prize. Miyamoto begs for a sister's prayer before the end, then lunges the moment Shinra's guard drops. Shinra calls him irredeemable and puts the Infernal to rest. That is when Princess Hibana, captain of Company 5, sweeps in to claim the body as her own. When Shinra protests, she blasts him flat, sneers at him as gravel from the 8th, and orders him to lick her boot. This is the woman who wanted the Infernal all along. Then her squad carelessly hurts a child in the crowd, and something in Shinra snaps. He will not stand for people who would joke about burning a kid. He plants himself in front of Company 5 and declares that he, Shinra Kusakabe, will show them what a real fire soldier is. But Hibana has an argument Obi cannot easily refuse. The moment Miyamoto turned Infernal, he became legally dead, just a specimen, and Company 8 has no science team to study him. She promises to share whatever she learns, and Obi, cornered, lets the faith take the body. One of Hibana's soldiers, Toru Kishiri, twists the knife, sneering that the 8th's captain is a no-talent nobody. Hibana warns Obi to stop sticking his nose where it does not belong. But Obi just smiles and promises the flames of the 8th will not be snuffed out so easily. As Company 5 turns and heads home. There are countless ways to die. Old age, illness, all the usual fears. But in this age, one death frightens people more than any other, bursting into flame from the inside and turning into a monster. It starts small. Iris, the sister of Company 8, crosses paths with another sister who has clearly been crying. Iris stops her and gently offers help because, to her, helping others is a fire soldier's whole purpose. The girl only thanks her and walks away, but something is plainly wrong. The next morning, Captain Obi gathers the squad. After yesterday's clash with the 5th, he wants Company 8 to investigate that crew and warns it may come to blows. An hour reminds them of the 8th's hidden mission. Root out the corruption festering inside the Fire Force itself.
An important meeting here. Shut your mouths and focus.
Hey, Lieutenant, I know you're kidding, but could you please not point your gun at us?
What the hell made you think I was kidding?
Somebody get a doctor! My leg! It hurts! Huh? Less than a
Hinawa fires a live round to shut the room up, but the rookie he hits walks away unharmed. He is a second generation, able to control fire, so he simply weakened the gunpowder to make the shot non-lethal. This point lands hard. Hostile pyrokinetics are nothing like Infernals, and from now on, Company 8 will be fighting people. As training begins, Shinra asks who the 5th's captain really is. Her name is Princess Hibana, a third generation who clawed her way up from Haijima. She got there by illegally experimenting on Infernals and selling the data. If anyone knows why humans spontaneously combust, it might be her. So the plan is simple. Take her research by force. Over at the 5th, Hibana shows exactly who she is. She torments one of her own rookies without a shred of mercy, calling everyone beneath her nothing but gravel. They're only to lay the foundation for her happiness. Back home, Shinra notices Iris. Her smile looks strained, like something happened with those 5th guys. Then it hits them. The sister is gone, and no one has any idea where she went. Iris has gone to the 5th alone. She asks to see their captain, then confronts her face to face, calling the research dangerous and corrupt, a betrayal of everything the Great Sol stands for. Then comes the gut punch. These two know each other. Iris calls her Nissan, but Hibana coldly orders her to never wear that habit in front of her again. To Hibana, sisters are just window dressing. God is a hollow puppet that never existed, and all that remains in this world are devils like herself. Hibana never planned to let Iris leave. She will use her as bait to lure Company 8 in and crush them. Right on cue, Shinra comes crashing down from the sky, announcing himself as the man who finds the sister and smashes the 5th. Company 8 hits the 5th head-on, and now it knows this shady research means the crew can never file a report or call for backup. He sends Shinra ahead to find Iris while he and Maki hold the line, with Arthur punching a hole straight through the front. Hinawa fights people even harder than he fights Infernals. He joined the 8th to lay out every fool in this land who refuses to listen to reason. Maki is the opposite. She left the military to save lives, and man-to-man brawling was never her thing. Chasing after the devil's footprints, Arthur runs into a strange old researcher who calmly promises to kill him. Then, the man reveals his weapon, an infernal whose firepower he has supercharged with an experimental drug of his own making. Hinewa and Maki come under fire from Toru Kishiri and his backdraft bubblish gum. He seals flammable gas inside oxygen-free bubbles, floats them toward his targets, then pops them so they explode the instant the gas hits fresh air. Maki pinpoints the warehouse he is firing from, and that is all Hinawa needs. Using his ballistic and ricochet control, he bends his bullets off every surface, tweaking each shot until it finds the mark and drops the bomber cold. But the 5th has more in store. Their elite trio, the 5th Angels 3, drop in on Hinawa and Maki, boasted that the researcher's fortified Infernal will burn the entire 8th to cinders. That Infernal is wrecking Arthur. He is slow, sloppy, nothing like himself, taking a beating while the monster mocks him for being ridiculously weak and stupid. Even the self-proclaimed Night King cannot understand why all his power has vanished. Then he finally sees it. He is right-handed, but he has been gripping his sword in his left the whole time. Arthur switches hands, and everything flips. One violet flash tears the fortified Infernal apart, proving he was ridiculously strong all along. Arthur carves through the 5th Angels 3 like they are nothing, while deep inside the base, Hinawa and Maki finally reach the room hiding the combustion research. Whatever truth Company 8 came for is right behind that door. To be continued. In a world where the death people fear most is burning alive, Company 8 barges straight into the halls of Company 5. Arthur throws himself at the elite fire soldiers, hungry to test himself against a real captain, and the raid erupts into a 3-on-3 brawl. Deep inside, the captain of Company 5, Princess Hibana, forces her little sister Iris to sit and watch Company 8 burn. Her rule is simple. In this world, you either burn or get burned, and Hibana chose to be one of the people who burn. She climbed to power by torching everyone she saw as beneath her. The weaklings she calls gravel, then standing on their ashes to rise higher. So when Shinra crashes in to protect the sister, Hibana just smiles. The hero has arrived. Iris begs him to run because no rookie beats a captain. Shinra swears it will not go like their last fight, then charges anyway, and Hibana drops him without lifting a finger. Once again, you are on the ground, she laughs. You really are gravel. Her weapon is heat syncope. Hibana wraps his body in heat that widens his blood vessels and drops his blood pressure until the flow to his brain falls away and his head swims. But Shinra sees through it and decides that, misguided or not, he can still be a hero. Next to the drills Lieutenant Hinawa put him through, he says, "This is nothing." Bored of an enemy who can barely stand, Hibana blooms her burning flowers, clematis, and invites him to be immolated. Shinra tells her she is the one under the wrong assumption.
I might be wrong, but I think you're the one who's delusional, Princess.
Say what?
Don't worry. It's your lucky day. 'Cause smack that princess to her senses, man, is here for you.
And what delusion are you planning to save
The
me?
dizziness is real, and Hibana knows it. She watches him lose his footing and lashes out with Sakura, mocking the idea that a staggering wreck like this could ever call himself a hero. As the flames writhe and dance, Hibana insists there is no god and no hero in this world. Iris will not accept it. Pray with all your heart, she pleads, and people truly have been saved. Hibana spits back that comfort is not real salvation. Then Hibana rips open the wound underneath all of it. The convent took them in as orphans, and everyone but her gave themselves to God. Then one day, with no warning, the other sisters burst into flame, and only Hibana and Iris were left alive. The most devout nuns burned, and the one girl who never believed walked away. To Hibana, that is proof that nothing ever comes of a life, that people only grow stronger for their own sake, and that lowly gravel has no business praying for salvation. She slams him back down with Sakura Blizzard. But Shinra will not stay down. Battling the heat syncope with everything he has, he swears he will rise as many times as it takes and never be beaten. For your sake, he tells her. There are flames that burn the body, he says, but also flames that light the way and flames that keep you warm. And precisely because there are no heroes in this world, that is why he is going to be one. Then deluded Lady Wickcall Man lands the blow that finally drops Princess Hibana. The blow knocks Hibana into the past. As a girl at the convent, she dazzles the younger sisters with flame flowers that shift color. Yellow from sodium, then copper, calcium, potassium, and strontium. Flames, she tells them, are incredibly pretty. Sister Sumier warns her the power was a gift from a great soul and dangerous if mishandled. Then, a tiny, painfully shy Iris finds the nerve to ask to see the flowers again someday. Hibana smiles and makes a promise. She will show her once Iris gets over her shyness. But the memory curdles. Those same flowers become the fire that devoured the convent. The sound of bodies burning, the cries, the pain. As if flames could ever be pretty. The young Hibana thinks and pulls Iris away before they burn too. From that day, the great soul meant nothing to her. Flames were the devil, so a devil is what she would become. She turned her back on Iris with one last warning. Do not let the flames burn you, and vowed to exploit people, flames, and everything else. She struck a deal with Hajime Industries, trading what she held for the rank of captain and the funding to run her experiments. Back in the present, Iris pleads with her. You were beautiful and smart. You could control flames, and when we were lonely, you were our hero. But Hibana only shakes her head. She had no one. The only thing that ever held her up was her flames, and in the end, even they turn on her. Now, she has nothing. Then, Shinra offers her the one thing she stopped believing in. You've got a hero right here. Look to the sky and call my name, and I will come save you anytime. When she asks what makes him obliged, he shrugs. When someone is in trouble, he helps them. That is what a hero does. Beaten, Hibana lays down her flames. With the fight over, Iris asks if she has finally beaten her shyness. And at last, Hibana keeps her promise, conjuring the pretty flame flower she owed her, a bloom of irises. Nisan, Iris cries. I love you. After the smoke clears, Nawa arrives and scolds Shinra for charging in before Captain Obi's cover story could land. So he spins a new lie, a joint nighttime training drill, and even floats a dinner party between the 5th and the 8th. Hibana agrees to play along, admitting she has taken a liking to Shinra, while somewhere else a quiet investigation is only just beginning. The proudest unit in the Special Fire Force is the 1st, a holy company led by the towering Captain Leonard Burns and his priest lieutenants. Word is spreading that the 8th and the 5th just ran a joint night exercise that felt a little too staged. Captain Obi is finally making his move. Company 8 throws a job well done party for the exercise, but it is really a cover. The word from the drill is that Captain Hibana of the 5th was furious about how soft her own people are, and her so-called angels are unhinged enough to bully their own and nearly torch the guests. Behind the noise, Obi meets privately with Princess Hibana. She offers her cooperation, but only her own, not the whole 5th, because her company answers to the corporation Hajime. Right now, the 8th is in no position to take Hajime on directly. Obi asks why the sudden change of heart. Hibana admits she once despaired of flames and let herself grow twisted, telling herself that fighting evil with evil made her stronger. Then Shinra beat her down and reminded her of the warmth of fire and the tenderness of justice. The 8th's true objective spills out. They investigate every company to crack the mystery of human combustion, and that is why they came for the 5th's data. Hibana confirms a nightmare. Someone is deliberately creating Infernals, and some of her research samples were clearly not natural. Shinra swears they will find whoever is responsible. Hibana makes her own vow, in the name of St. John's wort and the malice it stands for, to hunt down whoever burned her fellow sisters and burn them in return. Their goal is now the same, but there is a catch. The man-made Infernals are all clustered around the Shinjuku district, and Shinjuku belongs to the 1st. The investigation of the Sacred First begins. Iris is stunned to find Hibana at the 8th. It turns out the two were sisters at the same convent, and Hibana came to make sure Iris grew up right. Then she warns her little sister that what comes next is dangerous. Prying into the 1st could mean war. Obi's plan uses the rookie training reassignment system, which lets first-year soldiers transfer to another company for experience. Under that cover, Shinra and Arthur will go undercover inside the first and dig up any lead on who is making Infernals. The recruits arrive at Special Fire Cathedral 1 and its towering Holy Soul obelisk, bigger than any of them imagined. Arthur drifts off into his usual night fantasy, and the extra tag-alongs are just camouflage to keep the visit looking normal.
So you're the newbie in training rookie noobs. Sheesh. I bet even your crap is crap. Are you crappy? You crap?
Huh?
I bet even your crap is crap. Are you crappy? You crap?
I feel like he's trying to insult us, but it sounds like he's just talking about crap.
You bet your ass I know an ass when I see one. And your ass is an ass.
The soldier leads them to Captain Burns. For Shinra, this is everything, because Burns is the man who was there for the fire 12 years ago, the blaze that took his mother and baby brother. If that fire was set by someone, he is one step closer to the truth. Burns welcomes him in. Maki reports in, and Burns gently reminds them to press their hands together in prayer rather than salute inside the Grand Cathedral. He introduces the 3 lieutenants who will look after them, Flam, Hoshimiya, and Lee, then tells the recruits to relax and settle in. Then Shinra does something reckless. He asks Captain Burns for a sparring match to show off their abilities. Maki nearly loses it. Burns declines but offers Lieutenant Reika as a practice partner. Shinra's real motive is simple. If he can win, there is something he wants to ask. The sparring turns into a whole event, and Reika calls the lowest numbered company first. Up steps Takeru Nodo, a jittery rookie from a potato farm who goes by Jaganodo, quickly rebranded Juggernaut. Nodo is terrified of his own power, and that is exactly the problem. The more Reika excites him, the bigger his flames grow, until the nervous rookie is throwing out blasts strong enough to scare everyone in the room. One of Nodo's blasts nearly hits the captain, and Lieutenant Kareem shuts it down with a wall of cold. He reveals his trick, thermo-acoustic cooling, which turns the energy of flame into sound and sound into ice. The first has a fire soldier who makes cold instead of heat. Watching them, Shinra's mind goes dark. Someone in the first territory is manufacturing Infernals. He cannot help wondering if the culprit is standing right in front of him, or whether the whole company is in on it together. When Arthur and Nodo both refuse to keep fighting, Captain Burns steps onto the floor himself and offers to take on Shinra and Arthur at once. Nobody can believe the captain of the Sacred First is sparring the rookies personally, and Arthur vows to win it alone with Excalibur. Burns shrugs off Arthur's Excalibur and Shinra's Devil's footprints like they are nothing, then asks Shinra why he became a fire soldier. Shinra answers from the gut. His mother and brother died in a fire, and he will solve human combustion and become a hero who ends the flame terror for good. Burns simply tells him he has a long way to go. Beaten but standing, the recruits are formally welcomed into the first. Tamaki's clumsy luck sparks one more embarrassing accident, and Lieutenant Karam takes charge of the newcomers from the 8th. Company 8's undercover investigation of the Sacred First has truly begun. In the shadows, a servant reports to a figure called the Evangelist that infernalization is spreading right on schedule. And in a lab, a grim discovery. The monsters called Infernals are not all born by chance. Some are made by an insect burrowing into a victim's core from the outside. It has been 5 days since Company 8 went undercover inside the first. They have 1 month to find proof that someone is building these artificial Infernals on purpose. Every single morning, Captain Obi drops by to fuss over his rookies until it gets downright embarrassing. The other companies think it is sweet. Shinra just wishes he would stop coming by. But Shinra notices something off. The first is strangely relaxed, guard completely down, and their investigation points somewhere ugly. Artificial Infernals keep appearing in places only fire soldiers can reach, which means the culprit is almost certainly a fire soldier, maybe even one here at the first. Arthur asks the soldiers why they signed up. One admits he has no grand dream and can barely use his powers. Shinra tells him it does not matter. As long as you end up helping people, that is more than enough.
Appointed stations and...
If you would excuse me, ma'am, I need mayonnaise.
Oh, hey!
You're such a friggin' jerk! Stay away from me, will you?
I was just sitting still and then you fell on me.
Then the alarm hits. 5 people have infernalized at once. Another mass incident. The first snaps into a fast, ruthless operation, and the rookies from the 8th are ordered to hang back and stay out of the way. But staying back is exactly how Shinra sees it. A rogue fire soldier presses a bottled insect against a civilian's back, and the man infernalizes on the spot. Shinra gives chase, only for a lieutenant to stop him cold. He plays it off as getting lost, but now he knows the truth. A hero is making the monsters. Afterward, Arthur asks why Shinra held back, because they still do not know who is friend and who is foe. The robed culprit has to be one of the first 3 lieutenants, so they start with the 2 likeliest suspects, Karim Flam and Rekka Hoshimiya. Shinra does not care who it is. They are going to pay. Search Karim's room, they send Juggernaut to keep him busy, bribed with the promise of Tamaki's number. Arthur, now cosplaying an assassin, picks the lock with a one-use plastic blade and leaves obvious evidence of a break-in. And they find it, a bottled insects, the exact tool for making an infernal. Case closed. Karim Flam is the culprit, except Karim is standing right there. He left that insect out as bait to test him, because he is hunting the real culprit too. The fact that Shinra suspected a robed man tells Karim exactly who it is. The one other lieutenant in those robes that night, Rekka Hoshimiya. 2 months ago, a group of children mysteriously burned, and that is where Karim first found the insect. Flashback. Rekka approaches a pair of kids playing, warning them that fires are scary and promising a way to stay safe. With Tamaki unknowingly rounding the children up, he gathers them for what he calls a sacred prayer against infernalization. Rekka plays the saint, vowing to protect the children and shield them from the flames. Tamaki adores him, hanging on every word. Then he sends her outside so he can focus on the prayer, thanking her for all her help. Alone with the families, the mask drops. Rekka is not saving anyone. He is searching for someone suitable to become a pilot light. When one mother tries to back out, he calls her a poor parent and infernalizes her in front of her own child. Return to the Great Flame. Back in the present, Kara moves to hunt Rekka alone and orders the rookies to stay out of it. Shinra and Arthur flatly refuse. They were never really his men to command anyway. Karim gives in and lets them come. They are too late to stop the horror already underway. Rekka is tormenting terrified children when Tamaki walks in and sees everything. He confesses without shame. He serves the evangelist, and he will sacrifice as many innocent children as it takes to find a pilot light. He will never stop. Tamaki is shattered. The lieutenant she worshipped was a monster all along. Rekka beats her to the ground, then forces the insect into a small boy named Takun. But Takun does not turn into an infernal. He endures it. Rekka is ecstatic. He has finally found a child compatible to be a pilot light, and he orders the others to take their turn too. The kids can only beg for someone, anyone, to help them. That is when Tamaki fights back. Rekka is furious that his obedient subordinate turned on him. She was supposed to take the blame for his crimes. So he decides to change the plan and kill her, staging it to look like she burned herself to death. Just as Rekka closes in for the kill, a hand catches his fist. Shinra has arrived. Are you okay, Tamaki? The story so far: a district is burning, gifted children are the bait, and the hero everyone looked up to, Company 1's Lieutenant Rekka, is the one lighting the fires. When the call came in, he led the charge on the Infernal with his subordinate Tamaki at his side, playing the perfect noble officer. Now the mask is slipping, and he wants Tamaki to take the fall for the whole crime. In Tamaki's memory, Rekka is untouchable. He puts an infernal to rest with the same holy prayer the whole fire force uses, right down to the final word, Leitom. His old partner Karim scolds him for charging in reckless as always. Rekka grins that he can afford to, because Karim always has his back. To everyone around him, this is a great man. Back in the present, that man is gone. Rekka moves in to burn Tamaki down where she stands, and she can only cry out for help. Then, at the last second, Shinra Kusakabe drops out of nowhere and yanks her clear of the flames. Are you okay, Tamaki? Shinra puts himself between Rekka and the children and names him the culprit. Then Arthur comes flying in with a star fist and one of his ridiculous invented hero titles, telling Rekka there is nowhere left to run. Rekka just sneers. He does not retreat. He only ever moves forward. As they trade blows, Rekka refuses to let anyone interfere with what he calls his evangelism. Then he notices the infernal straining toward Shinra's flames, and it clicks. This rookie is carrying the Adola Burst, the pure, undefiled flame his cult has been hunting for. Shinra is the third person the evangelist wants, the sacred fire they believe will lead all mankind. Then Rekka says the quiet part out loud. For years he has been lighting pilot lights inside children, searching for one compatible with this power. Every child who burned into an infernal instead was, in his words, a trivial sacrifice. Shinra loses it and swings on him.
What are you doing there, you sicko?
Sorry. Okay, cool. Let's do this.
Could you get back my skirt first?
Starfish Jack!
Shaken to her core, Tamaki asks Shinra to do the one thing she cannot bring herself to do, defeat Lieutenant Rekka. Shinra tells her to leave it to him. That is exactly what he came here for. Their firepower is about even, but Shinra has one edge Rekka does not, and it is his feet. Inside a building full of walls and pillars, Rekka needs solid ground while Shinra turns every surface into a foothold, bouncing around the room and running circles around him. Captain Obi arrives and gets the rescued children safely behind cover, but flying in and fighting nonstop has caught up with Shinra. He goes dizzy and lightheaded. He has overheated, burning through the oxygen that feeds his own flames. Even drained, he pins Rekka down and demands answers. Why turn children into infernals? Are there more people like him out there? And who exactly is this evangelist he keeps praising? Rekka is happy to explain his master's dream. Turn every human being back into flame, incinerate this imperfect world and everyone on it, and reignite the whole planet into a second sun. To him, mass slaughter is salvation, all according to the will of the evangelist. He lets slip that the cult takes gifted children young and raises them inside the fire, and Shinra goes cold. Children with powers stolen as kids. He grabs Rekka and demands the truth. Did you people take my little brother too? Quartered and unhinged, Rekka decides to burn everyone down alongside him and pushes his flames past their limit. Before he can, a wall of ice smashes into him. It is Karam, the partner who always had his back, arriving to shut him down. The hotter Rekka burns, the harder Kareem freezes him. Karam locks Rekka down, planning to wring every secret out of him later, and warns that this rot may not be the first problem alone, but something spreading through the whole nation. Then a single shot cracks the air. A hidden sniper puts a round clean through Rekka. Direct hit. Boshimiya, eliminated, silenced before he can talk. The shooter starts picking off fire soldiers. So Shinra throws up a smokescreen while Tamaki hides the children out of sight. Kareem refuses to just hunker down and take it. Instead of blocking bullets, Kareem raises walls of ice to show the snipers that Company 8 already knows exactly where they are hiding. Rattled and suddenly exposed, the assassins decide the risk is not worth it, report back to their commander, and pull out. As the smoke clears, the picture snaps into focus. People dressed in white are turning others into infernals, setting fires and abducting gifted children, and Shinra's little brother is one of them. For the first time, he has a name to chase, the Evangelist. Kareem thanks Shinra for handling Rekka. He cannot reconcile the loyal friend he knew with the monster Rekka became, and he needs to know why it happened. So when he hears Company 8 is going after the Evangelist next, he asks to work alongside them. In the fallout, Rekka is dead. Arthur has gotten himself hopelessly lost chasing the body. The search party has to be sent out for him. Training is canceled. Shinra finally returns to Company 8 after his long assignment, and between the captain's punishing workouts, the lieutenant's weird hats, and the sister's kind smile, the rundown old church already feels like home. Then the last person he expects walks through the door. Tamaki has been suspended from the first for her part in the Hoshimiya mess, so the 8th is taking her in while the two of them file the report together. Shinra promptly tries to talk her into giving up her phone number. The usual screaming match erupts, and just like that, Company 8 gains its newest headache. Something has the Tokyo Empire rattled. At the Holy Soul Temple, the Emperor decides this threat is far too big to ignore, and gives one order. Assemble the captains from every company.
About lunch right now. Shinra, tell the captain to cut this crap out.
Huh? How come? The lunch is really good, sir.
Is it now? Glad you like it.
Damn it! She's playing dirty. Help me out and I'll treat you to all the ramen you want sometime.
I do.
On the way to Central, Obi tells Arthur and Tamaki why they got dragged along. The topic is the Evangelist and the White-Clad, and since the two rookies were caught up in it directly, the Empire wants their reports. In all his time leading the 8th, Obi has never once seen every captain summoned at once. That is how urgent this is. Elsewhere, the White-Clad finish their work. They report that Hoshimiya has been eliminated, then chant their creed, vowing to turn every person into flame and incinerate the earth, all according to the will of the evangelists. Whatever is causing Infernals to appear, the fire force is closing in on it. Then Shinra spots something staggering on the skyline. Amaterasu, the perpetual thermal energy plant built at the dawn of the solar calendar. One single facility powers all of Tokyo, which means it has to hold firepower from out of this world. At Central, Shinra meets Company 1 Lieutenant Karam Flam. Karam heard the whole story from Shinra and wants the truth about Rekka just as badly, so he pledges to work alongside the 8th. Inside, the captains file in one by one, and then a shock. Company 7's Benimaru Shinman, the man they call the mightiest fire soldier alive, actually shows up, even though the 7th never attempts anything. But Benimaru is here. This is a very big deal. Emperor Raffles III opens the emergency conference himself. Forces are moving in secret to threaten the nation and defile the protection of the Great Soul. So every company of the Special Fire Force is ordered to hunt down the evangelist as a traitor. Benimaru is not impressed. He calls the Great Soul a load of nonsense, refuses to bow, and reminds the room that the 7th are just a neighborhood watch who never swore loyalty to anyone. The 7th does whatever it wants, and he nearly walks straight out. Then the Emperor turns to Shinra directly. He knows the boy carries an Adola burst, the pure primordial flame Sol used to create the world, and that same sacred flame is exactly what powers Amatoya burst, the pure primordial flame Sol used to create the world, and that same sacred flame is exactly what powers Amaterasu. Here is the problem. The evangelist is hunting Adola burst, which paints a target on Shinra's back. Company 3's Dr. Giovanni wants him locked away as a specimen, but Shinra refuses to be caged, insisting fire soldiers exist to protect people. Obi steps in and takes responsibility. Company 8 will keep Shinra safe, and the Emperor gives his blessing. Back home, the company peels off their formal clothes, but Shinra is missing. He slipped away to see Amatawas on his own, and Obi quietly agrees to cover for him. What nobody knows is that Shinra is hoping the evangelist comes looking. That would suit him just fine. And someone does come. Joker steps out of the shadows with a familiar greeting for the devil's footprints. He warns Shinra that the Adola burst feeding Amaterasu is both the source of this world and the seed of its downfall. Then Joker offers a gift. As a reward for how close the devil has crept to the truth, he tells Shinra he has all but stumbled onto the location of his own brother. Keep chasing the evangelist, Joker says, and that is where he will be found. Because Sho Kusakabe is alive, serving the evangelist as commander of the Knights of the Ashen Flame. But little brother Shinra thought he lost is leading an enemy army. Left reeling, Shinra sinks back into that night and apologizes to his mother and Sho for the promise he could not keep. Then he makes a new one. Even if it means fighting his own brother, he will become a hero and keep his family bound together, no matter what. This is episode 10, The Promise. Company 8 goes on the offensive. Obi sets everyone digging through the data from every fire on record, hunting any thread that ties back to the White Cloud. These people are burning humans alive on purpose, and not a single one of them can be allowed to walk. Later, while cooking, Hinawa checks on the rattled rookie in his own blunt way. He admits he loves it here at the 8th and wants the new members to trust him too. Shinra means it when he answers that he loves it here as well, and that he trusts Hinawa and Captain Obi completely. At dinner, Shinra stands up and finally tells everyone the truth about meeting Joker and about his brother Sho. Obi asks the only question that matters. Do you want to believe your brother is alive? Shinra does, with everything in him. So Obi makes it a team decision. Company 8 will build their whole strategy around the belief that Shinra's brother is still out there. And in the dark, a voice recites the evangelist creed. A light to the lost, to burn the land and turn this world into a flaming sun where God may be enshrined. Latum. Present day. Company 8 pores over an inquiry report tied to the mysterious White Cloud, alongside the very first fire the squad ever answered. That stirs up a question none of the newer members can answer. How did Company 8 even come to be? Obi decides it is story time and orders Hinawa to do the telling. Rewind to solar year 195, back when Hinawa was just an Imperial soldier at Yokota base. He and his friend Tojo watched the Infernal cases climbing and wished they could do more than patrol. Then a thin young recruit snaps salute and heads home for the night. That recruit is Private Maki Oze, the general's daughter who trains twice as hard as anyone. But Hinawa is ice cold about it. writing her off as too kind for the army and her effort is wasted. Tojo says he is being too harsh. Hanawa just calls Tojo the soft one. Tojo has been shadowing the Special Fire Force, and he takes his gun to the church to have it baptized. He needles Hanawa with a grim joke. If you had to get shot, you would want it done by the baptized gun, right? Hanawa does not believe in Saul, and does not buy that a blessing changes a single bullet. Then it happens. Tojo bursts into flame and begins to infernalize, screaming for Hanawa to shoot him while he is still himself. But Hanawa freezes on the trigger and cannot do it. His friend is lost, and Hanawa is left broken by the one shot he cannot take. Afterward, he quietly has Tojo's gun re-registered in his own name. Now to the day Obi and Hanawa first cross paths. Obi is captain of a civilian fire brigade working ablaze with two Infernals, one raging loose and one calm inside a shop. The army's blue stripes roll in and size it up like a game, ranking the Infernals by how many points they are worth. A weeping wife begs them to free her burning husband, but the blue stripes want to chase the lively target and leave the docile one suffer for the points. Obi calls it what it is. Morale does not mean a damn when you are laying a human being to rest. Branded an amateur and told to stand down, he steps up to put the husband to rest himself. That is when Sergeant Hanawa appears at the cordon and asks what he thinks he is doing. Crossing into Blue Stripes territory means real punishment. Obi does not care. Next to the agony of the Infernal trapped inside, a little punishment is nothing, and he is sure Hanawa feels the same. Something in Obi makes Hanawa open up. He admits he once turned his gun on a friend who infernalized and could not pull the trigger. He is no devout follower of Soul, and yet he could not bring himself to fire an unbaptized gun. Obi lays out his creed. It is not about whether you believe in God. It is about how much you are willing to do for a dying Infernal. The baptisms and the prayers are salvation for the soul being released and for the person who has to release it. Hanawa steadies himself, says he will do it, and lays the Infernal to rest. Obi tells him the truth about courage. Believing in yourself is easy, but trusting someone else and throwing yourself in for them takes real guts. And today that courage was Hanawa's. If that is true, Hanawa answers, then Obi is the king. Right there, Obi makes up his mind to build a special fire force company and chase the mystery of the Infernals. Solar year 190 Obi shows Hanawa the rundown fire cathedral that will be their base. It is just the two of them so far, but Obi has a lead on one more. An old subordinate who works harder than anyone and always thinks of others first. Perfect, he says, for the 8th. Back in the present, the crew realizes that Recruit was Maki, and they tease Hanawa mercilessly. Maki, who always figured she was just muscle and a meat shield, tears up hearing what he really thought of her. And Obi sums up the heart of the 8th. Prayers for the dead, deliverance for the living, and human lives held above all. Then Hanawa turns to the report itself, the squad's very first fire. The victim had infernalized dress head to toe in white, marked with a strange red cross, no next of kin, and a company that rushed in to grab their belongings. That company still exists, out in Asakusa, which happens to be the turf of Company 7.
Matsuyaki and Monja!
Benemaru! I made some daifuku. Take it with you.
Huh? I told you before, you old bat. I don't like sweets. She makes too much.
For all his cold act about hating sweets, Asakusa's captain quietly hands every last daifuku to his men, and the whole neighborhood worships the ground he walks on. This is Shinmon Benemaru, captain of Company 7, and his crew would follow him anywhere. His lieutenant is Sagamaya Conro, a third-generation pyrokinetic and a calm to Benemaru's fire. Conro brings word that Company 8 wants to poke around the 7th's turf over the evangelist. Benemaru says, ignore them. Too much bother. Too late. The 8th are already standing in his yard. Shinra and the others have walked right in. They warn that the evangelist is artificially creating infernals and that Asakusa could be next, but Benemaru has never seen it with his own eyes and brushes them off as imperial dogs. Shinra fires back, vowing to beat the mightiest fire soldier in the country until he is forced to acknowledge him. The 4 fists can fly. Real flames erupt. An old man named Kantaro, who had just invited Benemaru out for a drink, has turned infernal on Block 3. Benemaru grins that the festival is beginning and launches himself into the fire. Benimaru soars through the air and flattens entire blocks going after Kentaro. Conro explains the impossible. Benimaru wields both third-generation pyrokinesis and second-generation flame control at once. Making fire and bending it are child's play to him. He is a compound fire soldier, one of a kind. Benimaru catches Kentaro and lays him to rest with his own hands, thanking the old man for letting him see him through to the very end. Conro explains the Asakusa way. Their leveled blocks are their offering, and every soul here would rather Benimaru be the one to send them off. This is Sinmon Benimaru, the demolishing king of Asakusa. In a world where people can burst into flame and turn into raging monsters, the deadliest fate of all still terrifies everyone. Over in Asakusa, home of the 7th, the town has just held a huge send-off for one of its own, Kentaro. It is so loud and fiery it looks less like mourning and more like a festival. But the funeral tore down homes across the district, and now the whole town is rebuilding. Company 8 offers to pitch in. Captain Obi knows they can't even ask to run their investigation here until the 7th town is back on its feet. So the 8th gets to work. Shinra hauls rubble and takes the high, dangerous jobs. Arthur clears the wreckage, and Hinawa handles the welding. Bit by bit, the outsiders start earning the respect of the rough-and-tumble 7th. But someone is watching. A group of hooded figures notes that Company 8 has been snooping around Asakusa over a case they'd rather keep buried. Their orders from the evangelist are simple. Exterminate them. Ready the bugs and the traps. With the day's repairs done, Lieutenant Conro tends the captain's wounds. Benimaru insists Conro should have been captain instead of him, but Conro says only a fighter can lead a district full of hotheads like the 7th. Nearby, Shinra wins the local kids over by spinning on jets of fire, showing off the breakdance he proudly calls his flaming top. Conro tells his captain the truth, but folks from the 8th are decent people, the same kind of misfits as the 7th. He urges Benimaru to let them investigate. Benimaru admits he never felt cut out to lead anyone, but he gives in. He doesn't dislike these 8th folks after all. Shinra asks about Conro's failing body, and Benimaru explains the curse of their kind. When a 3rd generation pushes past his limit, his own flames start eating him alive, slowly reducing him to ash. They call it tephrosis, and Conro is living with it. After all that hard work, Company 8 is finally on good terms with the 7th. Maki hopes Captain Shinmon's talk with Obi will win them permission to investigate at last. They're still chasing the evangelist with nothing but breadcrumbs, having left Iris behind and stuck the 5th with guarding their empty station. And that station is a mess. Captain Habana has taken it over, tossing Obi's things out the door to punish the 5th for slacking off, while one of her men happily begs her to step on him even harder. Meanwhile, the hooded pair congratulate themselves. They're the ones who turned Kentaro into an infernal, and they mean to make monsters of far more people in this town. Right on cue, a fire breaks out, and Meiki races off to check it before Hinawa can tell her to wait.
What's going on here? Why is he attacking us?
I told you not to eat Company 7's Daifuku!
I only had one of them, though. He's overreacting.
Out of nowhere, Benimaru turns on Company 8. He swears he watched them with his own eyes, plotting to turn the people of Asakusa into infernals, and that they're the ones who did it to Kentaro. Obi has no clue what he's talking about, but the captain of the 7th is done listening. He vows to crush them all. Hidden in the shadows, the real culprits gloat that their trap worked perfectly. Benimaru lays down the law of Asakusa. Around here, might makes right, so if the 8th truly wants to prove they mean no harm, they'll have to beat it out of him. Obi tells Hinawa to hold the line. Benimaru is a monster. He shrugs off Maki's flames like nothing, coolly measuring exactly how much 2nd and 3rd generation power the squad can throw at once. Then he cuts loose, dropping Arthur and Tamaki and scattering the rest with a single technique, Ai Chop, Form 1, Fire Moon. Obi arrives to find his people down and challenges Benimaru captain to captain. Then comes the shock. Obi has no fire powers at all, but he's genuinely terrified of flames. Yet, here he stands. It makes no sense to Benimaru that a man this afraid of fire would ever turn Kentaro into an infernal. Benimaru respects one thing about him. Obi doesn't lean on powers. He trains every single day. Obi cracks an extinguisher grenade, gassing them both to smother the flames, and lands one clean punch. He will never back down, because he carries the weight of being the 8th's captain on his own shoulders. The 7th can't believe an unpowered man just tagged their captain. Watching it all, Conro realizes something. Benimaru and Obi are cut from the same cloth, both born with a knack for pulling people to their side. Company 8 knows this fight has to end before someone gets killed. Done playing around, Benimaru winds up his deadliest strike, Ai Chop. Form 7, Sun Wheel. Conro throws himself in the way and stops him, demanding to know why his captain is recklessly burning through his pyrokinesis. The strain of it drops Conro on the spot. As they rush in a cooling blanket, he begs Waka to at least hear the ache out. Finally, the questions come. Hinawa says he and Obi were only buying supplies at the general store, and they told Maki exactly that. But Shinra was led to the back alley by someone claiming to be Obi, an order the captain never gave. Someone impersonated him. Benimaru heads off to check the alibi, and for Conro's sake, grants a truce. Nobody leaves until they're cleared. When things finally calm, Conro opens up about his broken body. He blames no one but his own weakness, insisting Waka did nothing wrong. Then he begins the story of how it happened, back before either of them ever joined the Special Fire Force. Solar Year 196 in Asakusa. That night, Infernals rose across the district faster than anyone could count, and no Special Fire Force ever came. Young Benimaru and Conro fought to save the town alone, both pushed to the edge of their limits, when a towering demon of an Infernal loomed over them. To keep the reckless Benimaru from throwing his life away, Conro hurls himself straight at the monster. This is the day he saves his friend, and the day his own body is doomed. Death comes in countless forms, old age, illness, all the rest. But in this age, the one that terrifies people most is the fire that swallows a human whole. And to understand the town of Asakusa and the man who protects it, we have to go back. Years ago, a young Benimaru finds his mentor Conro carbonized, his body ruined after facing an infernal alone to keep Benimaru out of the fight. Benimaru is furious he was held back. But the men of Asakusa have already decided. With Conro broken, Benimaru is the one who will lead them. Then an outsider arrives. Soichio Haig, captain of Special Fire Force Company 4, comes bearing an imperial order. The Asakusa firefighters, the Hikshis, are to be folded into the Special Fire Force as Company 7. In exchange, the Empire offers funding, equipment, and top personnel. Benimaru spits at the idea of becoming an imperial dog, but Conro sees it colder. As an official company, their losses this time might have been smaller. And if the Empire means to exploit Asakusa, then Asakusa can exploit the Empire right back. Back in the present, Conro's body is failing him. The price he paid interceding for Benimaru all those years ago. He tells his men he has no regrets, and that he will throw down his 2-bit life as many times as it takes to protect their young master. One young fire soldier can't stand to hear it. After losing his family and everything he held dear, he has learned there is no such thing as a 2-bit life, that everyone's life is precious. He wants to be a hero who saves everyone, and he begs Conro to use him before ever giving his own life away. Conro thanks him and says he'll count on him until the boy finds what truly matters. Conro heads out to keep digging into the fires plaguing the town, but as he goes, a petty argument flares in the street. Neighbors swearing they never did the things they're accused of. It looks like nothing. It is the first thread of a trap being set. After the opening, the whole of Asakusa turns on itself. All over town, people accuse one another of stealing, cheating, and skipping out on bills, each swearing they were somewhere else. There is no way this many cases of mistaken identity happen in one night. Even the little twins, Hikage and Hinata, suddenly turn on each other, each certain the other's sister is a fake.
You nasty little freak.
What'd you do that for, you stupid onion head?
How could you
What
do
kid?
the kid?
I thought you were a good idiot.
Turns out he's a bad idiot.
Take a good look. That's just a tiny old man who's dressed up.
Then Arthur settles it the only way he knows how, and the fake crumples, exposing a tiny old man who had been wearing a little girl's face. Someone in Asakusa can wear anyone's face. The shapeshifter is loose, and every fight in town tonight has been staged. The culprits are the white-clad. One is an artist who treats faces like a canvas, using heat to swell and reshape flesh into whoever he pleases. Beside him stands Yona, who warns the artist not to waste their limited followers. Their bugs are ready. The plan is complete. Yona spells out the design. Drown Asakusa in fires and imposters until no one can trust anyone. So the people will believe in nothing but Soul, their god. Asakusa is a power spot, and their bugs might burst someone compatible, even a new demon. and in the confusion, they will strike Company 8. Right on cue, one of the townsfolk bursts into an infernal. Shinra and the others move to help, but Obi holds them back. This is Company 7's ground, and Tamaki trained as a sister but never took her vows, so Company 8 has no authority to lay anyone to rest here. The people of Asakusa want only Benimaru to send them off. Obi sends Company 8 to evacuate civilians instead, and that is when the attack comes. A flame arrow curves out of the dark and nearly kills Maki, the same trick used by Rekka. She is snatched clear just in time, her little flames sputter, leaping into her arms. Shinra volunteers to draw the archer's fire. The arrows bend in midair and each shot comes from a different rooftop. And Shinra sees the truth. They are not just trying to kill him. They are luring him away to peel him off from the rest of the 8th. So he sends Arthur chasing on foot while he calls out every firing position, if Arthur can only remember to point. Elsewhere, Benimaru has already caught the face changer and demands to know where the real Hokage is. The fanatic only preaches that people lie and betray, that only soul can be trusted. Then he swallows a vial and forces himself into an infernal. Benimaru cuts him down and lays the soul to rest with the words of the flame, Lakan. Conroe confirms it was an artificial infernalization, a person turned into a monster on command. The terrified townspeople will not listen to anyone, and there is only one man they will follow. Benimaru takes command of the evacuation and hunts the Infernals himself, even as hidden agitators keep stirring the crowd into panic. Back on the rooftops, Shinra and Arthur finally corner the archer in a hooded white-clad who guards her. The two rivals can't stand each other, but they can count, work together, or die. So they build a formation, Arthur's long reach on the hooded man and Shinra's speed on the archer, to pry the pair apart. The plan works and they close the gap. But before they can land the finish, the hooded man calls the retreat. Fall back, arrow. The archer has a name now, and both white-clad slip away. And then a bug drops in. The bug finds a new victim, and Benimaru arrives too late to save them. I don't know your name, he says, but let me at least ease your suffering, and he lays them to rest. The trap around Company 8 has only begun to close. In this world, the death that scares people the most is bursting into flame from the inside. And when disaster strikes, only 1 in 10 people act correctly, while 70% are frozen stiff by shock. What they need is someone to lead them. Tonight, the town of Asakusa is tearing itself apart, and it is waiting on one man. High on a tower, Lieutenant Conroe finds his captain, Benimaru. The Infernals and the street fighting keep getting worse, and an enemy who can alter people's faces means nobody knows who to trust. A messenger begs Benimaru to give a speech and calm Asakusa down. Benimaru flatly refuses. That is not his duty to perform. But Conroe pushes him. Stop deferring to everyone else and make your resolve already. No matter what anyone says, Asakusa is your town, Waka, and the people do not want just anyone's words. They want the words of Beni. Benimaru figures the only thing he is good for is tearing things down, so that is exactly what he will do. He is going to smash things up. Down in the streets, Asakusa has become a screaming brawl, and Arthur is having the time of his life, calling the chaos a marvelous work of art of his own making. Then something enormous comes crashing down. It is Benimaru dropping from the top of the tower into the crowd, and the whole town freezes to stare. The demolishing king of Asakusa has come to speak. His message is blunt. Their town is under attack from the outside by enemies who make themselves look exactly like Asakusa folk in order to trick them. There is no way to tell who is who, and at this rate they get nowhere. But Benimaru says he does not give a damn, and the crowd roars right back at him. In the blink of an eye, he has flipped the entire mood of the town. Then comes the order. Everybody start clobbering each other, fake or real. It does not matter, because Asakusa will not be outdone by a bunch of imposters. His Company 7 will handle the fires and the Infernals. So beat each other up for all you are worth. One of the enemies, Harin, decides Asakusa is a power spot where a demon might appear, so he tests the theory on himself. He swallows a flame bug and turns his own body into an Infernal, and not just any Infernal, one with horns, a demon.
Well, I'm sure they're taking out some of the imposters in there.
Should we start punching each other too?
I think I'll pass, thank you.
Benimaru sends the 7th off to fight the fires while the townsfolk sort out the imposters. Conroe cannot hide how happy he is, saying his captain kept them all waiting long enough. Then Benimaru locks eyes with the horned demon. He He has found his opponent. Elsewhere, a white-clad archer stalks Shinra and Arthur. She tells Shinra that his flash of insight was an Adola link, and that he truly does not belong in the Fire Force. To her, a devil's flames are the flames that exterminate mankind. A single shot knocks Arthur clean out of the fight. Benimaru trades blows with the demon while the 7th warns this is no ordinary infernal. 2 years ago, a horned infernal appeared in this very spot, and it is the reason Conro carries his illness, his tephrosis. This one is personal, so Benimaru orders everyone to stay back. He is taking over the fight. The demon's attacks come in ferocious, but Benimaru turns every one of them aside. He knows that 2 years ago it took Conro blowing a giant hole in the ground to stop this thing, and it will take that much firepower again. He just cannot afford to level the whole town. So he grabs the demon and launches the fight straight up into the sky. The whole town watches their captain rise into the air, because only Benimaru could ever pull off a stunt like that. But it also paints a target on him. The enemies know one direct hit will finish even him, and the archer looses an arrow at his back. Conro sees it coming, but his body will not move, and all he can do is beg for someone to save Benny. Shinra steps up and offers himself. Before Conro throws his own life away, use me instead. Conro sends him off, and Shinra ignites the devil's footprints, rocketing up to catch the arrow in time. Shinra's speed is unreal, catching up to an arrow already in flight. The archer sneers that he cannot deflect it with the mere will of his flames, and repeats that a devil's fire only exterminates mankind. Shinra throws it right back at her. Screw that. His are the flames that preserve mankind. High in the sky, the enemies make him an offer. He carries an Adola burst just like their commander, so why serve the weak? Become a devil with them and help burn this world down. Shinra's answer is to swear he will be a hero who saves everyone, and to kick the demon out of the sky and straight back down to Benimaru. Benimaru takes it from here. His EI chop, Form 7, the Sun Wheel, cannot even crack the demon's shell, so he stops holding back. Asakusa is his town, and he will not let anyone act big in his home. He borrows Conro's signature move, the Crimson Moon, and ends the demon with one explosion so huge the town calls him the mightiest fire soldier. The beaten archer can only pout that his flames were a little too arty and admit that she is jealous. Her partner Yona calls the retreat because they have to report to the commander that a second demon was born in the very same spot, a genuine bonanza. As they vanish, the fires die out and the Infernals are gone, and Conro says they owe the 8th their thanks. Shinra, most of all. By the next morning, the town is already half rebuilt because the King of Demolition puts things back together too, and that is exactly why Asakusa loves him. Then a report comes in. The evangelist-linked company they had been digging into has burned down its own office, destroying every shred of evidence in the chaos. The enemy knew why the Fire Force came, and they are sharp. As Company 8 prepares to head home, Obi admits he worries that their arrival was the trigger for all of this. Benimaru waves it off. The evangelist people were already lurking in Asakusa, likely behind every human combustion the town had ever suffered, and now that has been put to a stop. To seal it, Benimaru offers a cup of sake, an old rite of friendship, making the 7th and the 8th allies. And there is one last twist. The moment the fearsome Benimaru tastes sake, he turns into the king of glee and cannot stop grinning, which leaves him and Shinra, two boys cursed with the exact same unsettling smile, locked in a grinning standoff while Benimaru demands to know what is so funny, you little brat. Somewhere in the shadows, a group called the Knights of the Ocean Flame gathers around a newborn demon of fire. Their vice commander, Arrow, confirms it. Shinra's rare power, the Adola Burst, is bound to that demon through something they call an Adola Link. They want it at any cost, because it is what their god, the Evangelist, desires. And giving the orders is their young commander, Sho Kusakabe. Back at Company 8, a new face arrives. Every fire company has been ordered to build up its forensics, and the 8th has none of its own. So Hayama Heavy Industry sends over Victor Licht, assigned as the company's forensic scientist. He has no fire powers, just a brilliant mind. But the brass cannot shake the feeling that Hayama strong-armed him in because they are plotting something.
So, indulge my curiosity! I simply have to see your Adola. What are you doing?
Oh, show me. Oh, show me.
Don't get touchy-feely with him.
Yes, ma'am.
My foot!
Victor's resume is absurd. Top of his class at Tokyo Imperial University, then head of a pyrokinesiology lab at Hajima. So why trade all of that to join a dump like the 8th? He shrugs it off. He was tired of being cooped up in a lab and wants raw data from close to the action. If they do not like him, they can kick him out. Then Victor points out the obvious. Forget a science team. Company 8 does not even have an engineer to service its truck. They do have one name in mind, a man everyone has tried and failed to recruit. He is Vulcan, a craftsman so gifted they call him the god of fire and the forge. The trouble is, he has turned away every recruiter Hajima and the Fire Force ever sent. Obi has an idea. Instead of officers, he sends Shinra, Arthur, and Iris, kids around Vulcan's own age, to feel him out honestly and see if he fits the 8th. Go casual, be upfront, just say hello. But as the trio heads out, Victor watches with a quiet smile, thinking to himself that he is really here to judge whether the 8th will be useful for achieving his own objective. Vulcan's workshop is a sprawling scrapyard packed with strange machines. Arthur loudly announces himself as the Night King, and instantly a security turret opens fire, reacting to the fire soldiers at the gate. As the crew scrambles for cover, a calm young man steps out and simply asks what it is they need. The young man is Yu, and he assumes they have come to recruit his master. Shinra introduces himself, first-class fire soldier of Company 8. Then Vulcan himself appears, snapping at Yu to call him Vulcan or scumbag but never master. The moment he learns fire soldiers are inside, he shuts them down cold. He does not help fire soldiers. Leave. Just as Arthur is ready to give up, Yu steps in and offers to hear them out. He explains he is Vulcan's self-styled apprentice, though lately more of a gopher. Vulcan built nearly everything in the yard, carrying on the craft of his father and grandfather before him. His skill, Yu says, is the real deal, everything a craftsman could ever need. But there is a price for that pride. Because Vulcan keeps sending recruiters away, Hajima retaliated by pressuring every merchant to stop selling him materials. Now Yu runs from junk dealer to junk dealer just to keep the forge fed. No wonder Vulcan hates Hajima. Still, Shinra swears the 8th is nothing like the other companies, and begs Yu to at least get Vulcan to listen. Yu sneaks them inside anyway. Shinra nearly gets clocked by another machine, which turns out to be Lisa, a girl who lives with Vulcan. In the workshop, Vulcan assembles the device at blinding speed, almost like he is drumming, then kicks it across the room to prove that a machine which breaks that easily was never worth building. Vulcan still refuses to hear a word of fire soldier talk. Then Lisa warns him that someone is back again. It is Dr. Giovanni, the captain of Company 3, the company that answers directly to Hajima. Vulcan sends Shinra's group aside and steps out to face him, because if he ever caves and joins the 3rd, his real dream dies for good. Giovanni is all smiles as he pressures Vulcan to give up and join him. Vulcan sees straight through it. Giovanni is the one who cut off his supply line, trying to starve him into surrender. And Vulcan goes further, accusing Giovanni to his face of killing his father and grandfather. Giovanni only feigns confusion. Giovanni sneers that Vulcan's genius is wasted in a scrapyard and calls his dream of the world's animals worthless. Vulcan fires back, refusing to let the man who left for money and power mock his dreams. Giovanni gives one final warning, then walks away, leaving the threat hanging in the air. Now it is Shinra's turn. He tells Vulcan the 8th was formed to investigate the other companies from the inside, free of any outside master, that they genuinely just want to save people, and that they want to help him. The speech is nearly derailed when he and Arthur keep clumsily setting off every machine in the shop, but somehow the sheer sincerity gets through. Worn down by these bizarre fire soldiers, Vulcan decides to show them something to make their trip worth it. He fires up a contraption he built as a child alongside his father and grandfather. Suddenly, the room fills with life. Mechanical elephants and migratory birds, animals that went extinct long ago, moving as if the old world never died. The crew is stunned to tears. Then Vulcan explains the dream itself. The Empire's power source, Amaterasu, only feeds the Empire's people. He wants to build a new energy source that could bring the whole world back to life and return the extinct animals to it. Watching a man who would use his genius for lives other than his own, Shinra makes the call on the spot. Vulcan belongs in the 8th. Yet, Vulcan still says no. He will not associate with anyone under Hajima's thumb, and he will go his own way. While the master works, Lisa opens up. An infernal took her family in a fire. She nearly ended up locked in a convent. When she ran with nowhere to sleep, Vulcan took her in without a word. For all his snarling, she says, He is an unusually kind man. He leads Shinra to a grave in the yard. It belongs to Vulcan's father and grandfather, who both became Infernals at the very same time. That is why Vulcan suspects Giovanni. The grandfather had 2 apprentices, Vulcan's father and Giovanni himself, and the instant both men died unnatural deaths, Giovanni broke their master's strict rule and went to work for Haima. This family's history with Haijima runs deep. Yu tells them to give up and go, but out in the shadows, Giovanni gives a chilling order. The time has come. Kill Vulcan. Shinra feels it, the same hostile intent he sensed once before, and he plants his feet. They cannot leave now. Call it a hero's and a boy named Yu brings sodas to 2 graves. His grandfather and his father, both of them gone. But he is not alone anymore. A mechanic named Vulcan took him in, and in Vulcan's workshop, Yu has a new family. Vulcan teaches him that some things in this world simply cannot break. Ships, cars, and above all, Amaterasu, the everlasting engine that powers the whole empire and never stops. Over dinner, Yu wonders about a harder question. Do feelings and bonds have a shape, and do families fall apart in time like everything else? His answer is no. Even his dead grandfather and father are still family, and those bonds do not break. So Yu makes a vow. He wants to build bonds that last forever. We are family. Elsewhere, Shinra tells Iris and Arthur that something is very wrong. He feels that Dr. Giovanni is out to take Vulcan's life, an intuition tied to the Adola burst, the same strange voice he heard back at Asakusa. He refuses to ignore it. He sends Iris and Arthur racing to the workshop to warn Vulcan, while he climbs high to scout the enemy and make the first move. But the enemy is already moving. Dr. Giovanni gives his cloaked followers a cold order. Kill everyone in the workshop. There are infernals and fires everywhere these days, so no one will ever question the cause of death. His men strip off their false clothes and swear their faithfulness to the evangelist. Iris and Arthur reach Vulcan, but he does not buy a word of it. He is the one who hates Giovanni, so why would Giovanni come for him? He decides these odd fire soldiers are just using ridiculous threats to recruit him. Then it is too late. The workshop is surrounded on every side, and the enemy slip past Shinra completely. Out in the dark, Shinra is ambushed by a second-generation enemy who flies using a booster in the wrist. The attacker knows exactly who he is, the rookie who carries an Adola burst and plans to capture him for the evangelist. Shinra dodges the wire and the 2 million volts riding it. Then the enemy delivers the gut punch. His friends at the workshop are meeting the very same fate. This is where Dr. Giovanni himself steps in, lecturing that you must always look twice before you leap. Shinra ran instead of thinking, and it costs him. Giovanni captures him and calls in for retrieval, an unexpected bonanza. The man with the Adola burst, one step closer to the evangelist's salvation. All that is left now is the key that Vulcan is hiding. Back at the workshop, only Arthur is left to fight, and Vulcan begs him to do something. There is a catch. Arthur can only use his power when he truly feels like a knight, and right now, without his gear, he just does not feel knightly enough to get going.
If you seek Arthur Boyle's protection, then you should know the more I look like a knight, the greater my power grows. That's why they call me the Night King!
Yeah, I could tell at a glance. You're as dumb as I...
Inside, Dr. Giovanni heads off to finish the people in the workshop himself. Outside, Vulcan cooks up a plan. He throws a blue sheet over a donkey and passes it off as a noble steed. Arthur, delighted, names his new horse Silver and charges into battle as a knight reborn. And it works. Believing every word of his own fantasy, Arthur declares that his mission from the king to protect the princess in the watermill. His sword flame burns hotter than ever. With a cry of Excalibur, he tears through the enemy's army, which turns out to be nothing but flimsy paper dolls. The enemy cannot believe how strong this idiot really is. Arthur announces himself the Night King, second-class fire soldier of Company 8, and promises to eliminate anyone who interferes. One with his steed, he mows them down no matter how many they throw at him. So the enemy fights dirty. Using illusions, they hold up a mirror of Arthur himself and force him to see the truth. He looks ridiculous, and Silver is not a horse at all, but a donkey. The fantasy shatters. The magic is dispelled. Silver goes down, and just like that, Arthur's incredible firepower collapses. With the rear finally clear, Vulcan tells Lisa and Yu to run for it and asks Iris to get them somewhere safe, but they refuse to leave him behind. Vulcan's the one the enemy wants, yet Lisa and Yu will not abandon him. They are family. after all. At last, Vulcan explains why. The company Hijima took everything from his family, their people and their technology, the work his forefathers poured their pride into for generations. His ancestors are the ones who built Amaterasu. He has a machine hidden out back to help them escape, and he swears that even separated, they will always be an indestructible family. Then, everything breaks. Lisa grabs you and holds his life over them, warning that one wrong move and she kills him. Taking her in was never a coincidence. She came to sneak in and find one thing. Hand over the key to Amaterasu. Lisa is a servant of the Evangelist, and to her, the family was broken from the start, just playing house. Iris throws herself against the door to stop them, but the enemy shuts her out. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and Vulcan is the one who cannot reach anyone. Dr. Head. Giovanni strolls in, tells Lisa to stand down, and lays out Vulcan's only choice. Tell him where the key is, and then die, or die right now. Giovanni twists the knife. Vulcan's whole family line was pathetically gullible. Generation after generation of fools fooled through their feelings, just like his old man. But when it came to Amaterasu, they were always careful. Vulcan swears he is hiding nothing and has nothing to give. To force the truth out, Giovanni turns on you and cuts him down. The wound is life-threatening, but there may still be time if Vulcan talks now. It is pure blackmail. The boy's life for the key. Vulcan screams that he has no idea what key Giovanni even means and begs him not to take anything more from them. Giovanni will not accept it. He rants that he has looked and looked and looked before he leapt, certain the family hid the key from him on purpose. He cannot fathom that Vulcan, for all his talent and gullibility, honestly does not know where it is. So Giovanni takes his rage out on the one thing Vulcan loves. He smashes the treasured inventions Vulcan built. Worthless junk to him, everything to Vulcan. Piece by piece, it comes apart. It's breaking. It's broken. The family Vulcan swore could never break lies shattered on the floor. To be continued. Long ago, a man named Raffles and his disciples took the flame given by the Great Soul, combined it with human technology, and created Amaterasu. That sacred fire powers the whole Far East. And right now, someone is willing to burn down a workshop to steal the key to it. Vulcan's workshop is under attack. His people beg the intruders not to smash the machines that still hold his father's memories. Then Captain Habana cuts her way in, frees a captive, and hears the warning that the whole workshop is in danger. Kanawa runs the battle outside and orders Shinra straight to the workshop. Inside, Dr. Giovanni digs the key to Amaterasu out of an old piece of junk and turns on Vulcan to finish him off. Then Arthur crashes in, announces some ridiculous hero name, and demands to know what they think they are doing to his engineer. Shinra reaches the workshop and freezes. Lisa, Vulcan's own assistant, has turned on them. Vulcan is down, burned, and can barely move. Giovanni just smiles, stunned that Shinra escaped, and promises to capture him all over again. Giovanni fights dirty, filling the air with shimmering illusions to throw Shinra off. But Shinra works it out. Shimmers are just tricks of hot and cold air. So he floods the room with enough heat to erase the distortions, and the fake images melt away. That is when Giovanni reveals his real weapon. His flames are magnetic, latching onto the faint fields that living bodies give off, and they wrap Shinra up tight. Pinned down, Shinra shouts for the sister to start smashing the buttons on the workshop wall. Iris hammers the controls at random and Vulcan's machines roar to life all around them. Their magnetic fields blend with the humans and scramble Giovanni's aim, breaking his hold on Shinra. Giovanni realizes nothing here was handled the way his report claimed. And in the middle of it all, something reaches out and links with Shinra's mind. Shinra turns and comes face to face with a boy he would know anywhere. It is Sho, his little brother, the baby he thought died in the fire 12 years ago. He is alive. Shinra falls apart with joy, gushing that this angel is his brother and that he can finally keep his promise to their mom. Shinra swears that no matter what happens, he will keep Sho safe, but Sho stares back with dead, empty eyes. So this is the older brother the evangelist told him about. And the only thing Sho feels, looking at him, is disgust. And Sho moves, faster than anyone can see. He cuts Arthur down and reappears before they even register it. Nobody can follow his swordsmanship. The white-clad give their orders. Retrieve only the one with the Adola burst and dispose of everyone else. The enemy secures the key to Amaterasu and closes in on Shinra. Then a car comes tearing through the smoke. Inspector Licht hauls Shinra inside. They grab Lisa, and Company 8 makes a break for it. The White-Clad give chase, refusing to let the Adola burst slip away. Shinra screams a promise back at Sho that he will come back for him no matter what. Then, a stranger steps in and blocks the pursuers cold. He calls himself Joker, a wild card who will not let the Fire Force or the Evangelist have their way. He buys Company 8 their escape and marvels at Sho, a monster who did not even leave an Adola link behind. Back on safe ground, they report in to Captain Obi. The injured are in the hospital. The workshop is half destroyed, and they went head-to-head with the White-Clad. Worse, Dr. Giovanni is a traitor, and Shinra just met the boy who may be his lost brother. Since the enemy may still be hunting Vulcan, Company 8 offers to take him in where it is safest. Obi apologizes that they could not protect Vulcan and you the way he wanted to. Vulcan tells him his response was fast, that it is his own fault for not listening, and that there is nothing to apologize for. Vulcan refuses to break. He swears nothing in this world cannot be fixed, that you will pull through and he will bring Lisa back around. Shinra tells him plainly that he is not alone anymore, that they will make his dream come true together. But Vulcan still eyes the man who saved them, half suspecting Inspector Licht led the Evangelist goons right to them. In the end, Arthur's wound turns out to be nothing serious. Yu is soon out of danger, and Vulcan takes refuge at Company 8 under Captain Obi, and Shinra sets his jaw. Sho really is serving the Evangelist now, but he swears he will bring his brother back and keep his promise to Mom, whatever it takes. At headquarters, Obi apologizes for his knucklehead rookies while Inawa quietly cooks dinner for their guest. The table instantly erupts. Shinra and Arthur trade blame over who let the workshop fall and start wrestling over each other's meat, while everyone agrees the lieutenant cooks better than any of them.
Is it always like this here?
Pretty much. Well, Tamaki's lucky lecture lure isn't acting up at the moment, so I guess it's a little bit better than usual.
Her lucky what lure?
This is not at all what Vulcan expected. Hinoa lays it out straight. Company 8's whole purpose is to save the world and its people. He knows Vulcan's family has its rules, but he asks him honestly if he wants to join the 8th, and promises to keep him safe either way. The others quietly hope their new engineer says yes. Alone, Vulcan sets a soda at his family's memorial and talks to his father and grandfather. The Fire Force is taking him in, and he knows they would hate it since the outfit is tied to Hajime. Their family swore never to help the Fire Force. A curse, maybe, for the family that birthed Amaterasu. Vulcan is done trying to fix the whole world by himself. Now there is you and Lisa and the guy who told him he is not alone. So he is sorry, but he is breaking the promise. Company 8 has a house guest. Lieutenant Kareem rolls in with an offer to pool their intel and start working together against the White-Clad, while Tamaki quietly dreads the idea of ever fighting Sho. And in the middle of it all, Arthur is still introducing everyone to his donkey, which he swears is a Pegasus. With Iris pouring the tea and a testy guest complaining about the seating, Obi calls a meeting to order. Everyone at the table lays out what they know about the Evangelist and the White-Clad, an enemy they only recently proved was even real. The picture that forms is ugly. Reka Hoshimiya was breeding man-made infernals to hunt for people compatible with the flames, like he was fishing for some special ability, and Dr. Hoshimiya was breeding man-made infernals to hunt for people compatible with the flames, like he was fishing for some special ability, and Dr. Giovanni was chasing the key to Amaterasu, the giant flame that powers all of Tokyo. The attack on Vulcan got pinned on a masked imposter, but Vulcan saw the real Giovanni's face and swears the man at the press conference was a fake. Hayama buried their own Company 3 scandal and served up a fall guy to take the blame. Worse, the third has been quietly bleeding people, spies who have almost certainly slipped back to the Evangelist. With the White-Clad about to get more radical, the plan is simple. Find their base and hit it. And Obi's science man, Victor Licht, has already started digging. But the warning is blunt. Even if they find the enemy, the rookies cannot win yet. The commander, Sho, likely draws his power from an Adola link straight to the Evangelist. Inawa vouches for his rookie's talent, then admits the hard truth. They are dangerously green at hand-to-hand combat. So the fix is decided. Send the rookies to the one man who does nothing but fight, while Lick goes to work upgrading the Devil's Flames. The phone call goes out, and a very reluctant captain grumbles that, yeah, he owes Company 8 one. The Secrets of Pyrokinesis are about to get personal. Shinra shows up in Asakusa and politely announces himself. Captain Shinman answers by flattening him before he can finish the sentence. If this were real combat, the rookie would already be dead. Welcome to training. Back home, Vulcan refuses to be left behind. He shows off the Iron Medillo, a magnetic ball that snuffs a fire out in an instant, and promises more gadgets while Shinra and Arthur sweat it out in Asakusa. Shinmon's lesson is more mind than muscle. In a real fight, your life is on the line. So stop feeling the tension and start feeling life instead. Your own, your friends, even the enemies. Treasure every life in the room, he says, and you stop leaving yourself open to die. He calls the spar early. Their attacks are competent, but they telegraph with no element of surprise. What they are missing is a finishing move built around Shinra's one real edge, his speed. Right on cue, Victor Lick crashes the session with an idea to power Shinra up. Lick's pitch is jet propulsion. Instead of spraying flame in every direction, funnel it into one tight stream and the thrust multiplies. Shinmon shows what that looks like with a single focus blast that lights up the sky, and Shinra realizes this is exactly the finishing move he needs. Shinman puts Shinra on nothing but that move and takes Arthur back to fundamentals. He clocks Lick as the odd one out, the man who came from Hajima, and warns him that any funny business gets him thrown in the ocean. Lick just shrugs it off. At the workshop, Panoa catches Maki playing with her flame pets, sputter and flare, and breathes her the riot act until Vulcan reveals what they are really for. The twin hover units, Tekio. Flying hammers powered by Maki's flames that can pound powered enemies who laugh off fire. Maki wants to call them the Spit Flare Witch. Vulcan does not. Out in Asakusa, Shinra grinds on the compression, pinching and squeezing his blast smaller and smaller. The only thing that changes is his face, which Shinmon calls a gross, ugly sourpuss. So Shinra starts copying the poses his captains strike when they fire.
But try the one that Captain Obi likes to do. Rock and roll! Yeah!
The hell was that? Did Shinra just rip a huge fart through his feet?
Then Shinmon notices something. Shinra has been unconsciously mimicking his captain's handshakes. Gloves off, Shinmon teaches him Tenakata, old martial arts hand forms that funnel the body's ki to a single point. One of them, Tora Hashigi, pours that energy straight into the feet. Control the ki with your fingers, he says, and figure out the rest yourself. Shinra twists his fingers into the form, feels it instantly. His flames compress and nearly launch him off the ground. He locks onto the one thought that matters, getting to show faster, and blasts upward faster than he ever has. Watching him go, Shinmon finally gets why Joker sees so much promise in this kid. Shinmon orders him to turn that speed around and come after him, and the crew swears their grumpy captain is secretly loving this. Arthur takes a beating but stays proud. A night to the end. Then Shinra is asked to name his new finishing move. He proudly lands on Kickerman Kick. It is immediately overruled. By nightfall, Conro and Shinman agree the boys are still just shaky kids, but they are getting there. Shinman sharpens Arthur's sword work, then turns to Shinra with something heavier. He has heard about his brother, the only family he has left. Keep him safe. Then it is back to training, deep into the night. As the world drowns in ash, one man rises. History will call him Raffles I. He gathers his disciples and sets out in search of light. And at the end of that journey, he finds an unsullied flame, the fire that becomes mankind's salvation. Deep in the Nether, the evangelist's men already know a company is coming for them, and they welcome it. They post Yona at the gate and skip the scouting, because the man walking in is the one carrying the Adola link. A memory surfaces. A young Shinra, unafraid even of the Nether, making a promise to his baby brother Sho. If Sho is ever dragged down into that dark place, his big brother will definitely come to rescue him. Back in the present, Company 8 gets the truth. After combing through Vulcan's ruined workshop, Link traced the evangelist men to the Nether, the forbidden world beneath the Tokyo Empire. The Holy Soul Temple calls it unclean, a place the Great Light never reaches, where heretics hide among the old subway tunnels buried on the day of the Cataclysm. Using Dr. Giovanni's leftover data and every sighting of man-made Infernals, they narrow the target to Yotsuya. Tomorrow they raid the base, creating those Infernals, where the secret of human combustion is waiting. And this time the captain makes it personal. They are not laying anyone to rest. They are going to bring Shinra's brother back. Far below, someone stirs in the heat, mumbling that it is hot, calling for his sister, unsure of where he even is. Up on the surface, the ground trembles again. One more small quake in a city that has had far too many lately. The team rolls out on their very first call-out together, jitters and all. Their newest faces stand out, the engineer Vulcan and scientist Licht, who has kept his lab coat on as an inner layer. Ragtag as they are finally starting to look like a real company. Getting in is its own miracle. Nobody enters the Nether without special permission from the church, and only the 8th has been cleared to investigate. The Holy Salt Temple keeps everyone else out, because down there is supposed to be connected to hell itself, crawling with inhuman things. At the entrance, nerves start to crack. Nobody can believe trains once ran under the ground, and the captain is clearly rattled. Shinra repeats the line from his childhood, that he is not afraid of the Nether, while Vulcan just shrugs, admitting he has slipped down here a few times to inspect the water treatment lines. Iris offers a prayer for the innocent souls below, and the sealed door swings open on its own. For a moment, everyone panics that it is some magic gate inviting them in, until Vulcan pipes up that he simply got the old electricity running. Cue the captain nearly jumping out of his skin. They step into pure blackness. The captain is so spooked he startles at his own shadow, so Maki lights the way, except her idea of a little light is a roaring ball of flame. A normal lamp, someone's size, would have been just fine. The captain reminds them what they walked into. This is hell, and the evangelist's base in the mystery of human combustion sits somewhere inside, so stay sharp. But the enemy moves first. Jonah sets his plan going with artistic flair. A thick fog rolls in, and the whole squad is torn apart. When it clears, the captain and Vulcan are alone, and Vulcan's homemade life-sensing goggles cut through the trick. Their enemy Mirage floods the dark with perfect imposters of the whole team. Between Mirage and Yona, Company 8 has been divided, and now the enemy plays its trump card, sending in Assault the Slaughterer, who they boast could wipe out the entire 8th all by himself.
Okay, Iris, you know I'm the real one, don't you?
Don't listen to her, she's lying.
Why are you even struggling to figure this out? Any way you look at it, that weirdo's a fake!
That isn't true. She's totally the real imposter. And she's a meanie.
One more thing that proves I'm real, plus I was in your left, remember? And I have flame ears.
Then he arrives. Assault, the slaughterer of the Knights of the Ashen Flame, steps out of the dark and declares he is the name of the one who will kill you. He will not hold back. Elsewhere, Maki runs into the enemy squad led by Flail, and they make the mistake of seeing just a woman. They throw everything at her, even a controlled meteor of fire, and she barely blinks. That did not hurt, she says, before flattening them all, furious at being called a gorilla cyclops. Back in the fog, Shinra plants himself in front of Iris as Assault closes in, a third generation whose flames test even Shinra's resistance. Assault is almost bored. He has bigger work to do today and no interest in beating up women and children, so he decides to simply kill them all at once. A flashback shows why Tamaki is even here. Suspended and told she belongs with the first, she refused the easy way out. Right now, she is a member of the 8th and she will go on their missions. She is a fire soldier, and her job is to protect, not to be protected. She proves it. Assault fires his crimson bullet to finish things, and Tamaki twists out of the way, telling him to give her more credit than that. She dodged it, he realizes too late, as she wraps him in her own flames, blinds him, and ends it with a whispered prayer. With Assault's man down, Tamaki beams. Did you see that, Kusakabe? She protected someone all on her own, and all is well that ends well. But the mission is far from over. The company pushes deeper into the pitch-black Nether, with one warning echoing behind them. Do not get separated in the dark. Deep beneath the city, in a pitch-black railway station, Shinra's team walks straight into a trap. A voice in the dark tells them the Dola burst, the flame burning inside Shinra, does not belong with the Fire Force. The White-Clad have come to tear it out of him, and their answer to every question is one cold word: die. The attackers grab Inspector Leek, an investigator trapped down here with them, and hold him as a shield. Hand over the man with the Adola burst. They warn Shinra, or this one dies where he stands. But Shinra has a new gear, and a blur he calls the Rapid. He blows past the kidnappers and snatches Lick clean out of their hands. Arthur, refusing to be outshined, immediately demands his own version get a flashier name, one with the word man jammed into it. Somewhere else in the tunnels, Lieutenant Hanawa is fighting his own war. His enemy hides in total darkness and blinds him with light he cannot shoot through, so his bullets keep hitting nothing. He knows only one thing for certain: stay still and he dies. The shooter in the shadows is Arrow, a white-clad archer who curves her shots around every wall. She calls this dark maze her hunting ground and treats Hanawa like cornered prey she is about to bag. But he plants himself in her way. She is not getting Shinra. Arrow preaches the white-clad gospel. The world is changing. Feelings only slow it down, and the wise thing is to become an emotionless cog in the machine. Then she asks why he even bothers to fight. Hanawa's answer is simple. Ask him to hand over one of his own men, and that insult alone is enough to make his blood boil. Then Hanawa cuts loose and the whole tunnel shudders. He fires ordinary rounds accelerated to impossible speed. So fast the sonic boom by itself can kill. So violent that a single shot destroys his own barrel. Watching it, even his allies wonder if Arrow can possibly survive. The trade is so brutal that Shinra and Arthur cannot even step in. Getting between them would be like walking into a duel of tanks. When the smoke thins, Hanawa is drained, half-blind, and barely awake, wondering if the other shooter is still breathing at all. Flat on the ground, Hanawa thinks of his short-handed company and the men who count on him to come home. Then it clicks into place. Burrow's opening shot spared his left shoulder on purpose, the shoulder that carries the emblem of the 8th. She was never trying to kill him. So he answers with everything left in him. He steals Arrow's own flames to shove his bullet even faster, a technique he names Velocity Unbridled, and finally puts her down. It empties him completely. He can barely lift an arm now, but the old soldier's refusal to quit wins the round. The second he is helpless, 2 more white-clad ooze out of the fog to finish the job. Striking an enemy at his weakest, they sneer his basic tactics, and Hanawa has nothing left in the tank to fight back with. The assassin is sure Hanawa's last shot flew off into empty mist. It did not. Hanawa had spotted Arthur clinging to the ceiling and shot him down on purpose, dropping his knight straight into the fight like a champion summoned from the heavens. The attacker is Mirage, the shimmer user from Vulcan's workshop, and he fills the tunnel with mirror image decoys. Too weak to stand, Hanawa coaches Arthur through it. Stop chasing the fakes. Feel the weight of a real life behind the one strike that is actually trying to kill you. Arthur, being Arthur, decides this fight has leveled him up into a knight samurai. Then, in the middle of a life or death battle, he grinds to a halt to argue with himself over whether that actually makes him a samurai knight instead. Mirage's real plan is to bait Arthur with decoys and knife the helpless Hanawa from behind. But Arthur finally senses that one breath of killing intent, and his IA caliber cuts the assassin down mid-sneak, saving the lieutenant without ever quite grasping how. Mirage's fake-faced partner takes one look at the turntables and bolts, abandoning his ally on the floor. Nobody can say for sure the man was even human under that mask. Their fight finally won. Hanawa and Arthur head off to find the rest of the company.
So those demonic eyes were just sputter and flare.
Fucky! It's super scary down here!
There.
Deeper in the dark, Vulcan comes face to face with Lisa, the girl who once lived in his workshop, now standing on the enemy's side. He came all this way underground for one reason, just to see her again. But a cold voice promises he will never see an ally alive again. Then her old master steps into the light. He raised Lisa, taught her to bend both flames and people to her will, and used her all along to worm his way close to Vulcan. She reveals her true white-clad name, Feeler, a junior knight of the Ashen Flame, and obeys his order to defend him, even as Vulcan begs her that none of it was ever real. Captain Obi steps up disgusted, refusing to let a grown man twist a kid like this. The old knight only sneers that Company 8 understands nothing, while his evangelist knows all of it. The true cause of the flames and the secret buried inside Shinra's Adola burst. He will not share a single word. Obi just calls him a lousy teacher, and the whole standoff hangs on a knife's edge. Company 8's captain and Vulcan are cornered, and between the two of them there isn't a single flame power. Their enemy, Dr. Giovanni, sneers that unpowered men like them cannot win. Worse, their friend Lisa now stands on his side, her own fire finally kindled by his bugs. Lisa explains how she got here. An infernal killed her parents, and the flames terrified her for years, until the bugs opened her eyes and the fear vanished. Vulcan begs her to see she's being fooled, and Obi swears that even he still fears fire every time he fights it. But Giovanni only laughs. His tentacles guard him on their own, and he vows they'll die without ever learning his secret. Obi charges in with a fire extinguisher, insisting he's freeing Lisa from the flames holding her captive. She snaps that she isn't captive and isn't afraid. Giovanni mocks the extinguisher as useless on a battlefield, but Obi throws the fire soldier's motto back at him. Protect lives and property. Rescue gear is never useless. Furious, Giovanni orders Lisa to kill them. Then the captain springs his real plan. He took that whole beating on purpose so he could stick extinguisher grenades onto every one of Lisa's tentacles. They blow all at once and smother her flames. And as her power dies, Lisa crumbles, reaching for the parents she lost all over again. But Giovanni isn't done with her. He reminds Lisa that he's the one who saved her from the terror of fire, the one who let her stay with Vulcan. She owes him everything. Broken, Lisa says she can't turn against him and begs them to just leave her alone. So Giovanni grabs her instead. He loops a heating wire around Lisa's neck and gives Vulcan a choice. Pick up the gun and shoot Obi or watch her die. Obi, staring down his own man, quietly tells Vulcan to do it. Vulcan can only whisper that he's sorry. It's an impossible call. Shoot the captain, and Lisa lives. Hesitate, and she loses her head. Obi screams at him to pull the trigger and save her. Vulcan says he can't, and then, with tears in his eyes, he fires. Giovanni gloats that Vulcan just gunned down his own superior. But then Obi stands right back up, alive, grumbling that it's terrifying even when you know it's coming. Turnout coats aren't supposed to stop bullets. Vulcan clearly rigged something underneath.
Oh, would you like to know? Huh? You feeling curious? Well, I'm not gonna tell you.
Vest before we came.
Vulcan yells that he's the 8th engineer, and there's no way he'd let his captain walk out unprotected. That armored vest was his doing. Obi grins that this is exactly why they work. They trust each other, and that makes them a team. Giovanni calls trust a ridiculous, meaningless idea and slams their gear to test it. But in the chaos, they finally tear Lisa free. With Lisa safe, Obi demands answers. How does a man who once protected people from fire end up creating man-made infernals? Giovanni's reply is chilling. Humanity is just a tiny sliver of the world's energy. Let stunted mankind burn and become part of the world. Then he drops real history. Around 250 years ago, a massive Adola burst triggered the day of the cataclysm, and its source is something mankind has feared since before the calendar even began. Obi doesn't care about the lecture. Whatever causes human combustion, their job is to stop it, and Giovanni's bugs are the real crime against nature. Giovanni sneers that their god, the evangelist, is beyond an unpowered man's understanding. Obi fires back that it's just an idol, no better than the holy soul they pray to. But Giovanni insists the evangelist is no idol, and hints that someone else is finally starting to understand. Shinra Kusakabe is getting an inkling. Because far away, Shinra suddenly collapses. His mind is dragged into a strange, endless place he's never seen, where a mysterious figure watches him, and standing in it is a face he spent his whole life chasing. His little brother, Sho. Then it's gone, and he wakes with no idea what he just did. Shinra's devil's footprints flare beneath him, and he can feel exactly where to go now. Sho is up ahead. A hooded enemy explains what's really happening. Shinra's Adola burst is linking straight to Commander Sho. The enemy spells out what an Adola burst even is. A special flame that can bend all other heat. The very pilot light behind human combustion. It's why the bugs behave like moths, always crawling back toward fire. They're trying to return to the mother flame they came from. Shinra finally reaches Sho, thrilled that he kept his promise to their mom. But Sho looks at him with nothing. He says he has no mother, that his only mother is the evangelist, and the very idea that they might be brothers turns his stomach. That's the one thing Shinra won't allow. He tells Shu never to speak ill of their mother. And with two bearers of an Adola burst standing face to face, the reunion detonates into a fight. But Sho fights like nothing Shinra has ever seen. In an instant, the world seems to simply stop, as if he froze time itself. The onlookers can't process it, since no pyrokinetics should be able to do that. All they can do is cry out for the captain, for Hinawa, for Maki. The hooded enemy calmly announces his job is finished. His only task was to bring Commander Sho and Shinra together, and now that they've met, he has no reason to stall. As he slips away, he confirms the nightmare truth. Atolla bursts are the cause of human combustion. Giovanni retreats too, abandoning Lisa but warning them never to undo her brainwashing, while she begs not to be left behind. Sho tells Shinra it's hopeless. They exist in different universes, and no matter how fast Shinra moves, he can never catch up. Shinra refuses, swearing to drag his brother back no matter what. Hinawa slowly pieces together the horror. Sho is generating enough heat to expand his own universe and control time inside it. As another adult link flares between the brothers, Sho promises words will never make Shinra understand. The white-clad cult is watching from the shadows. Their evangelist foresaw this exact moment, the second meeting between Shinra Kusakabe and his lost brother, Commander Sho. The evangelist's subordinate, Hameya, feels it too. Two brothers who both carry an Adola burst, and something is about to awaken. In a place beyond the world, the evangelist speaks straight into Shinra's mind. This black land of endless fire is the true source of the Adola burst, the primordial flame that ancient people once called hell. And standing behind all of it is the evangelist itself. Shinra snaps and accuses the evangelist of using his own brother to burn people alive, but the figure simply vanishes, leaving him alone with Sho. Through the evangelist's grace, Sho can steal the heat of the universe and freeze time itself. No matter how fast Shinra moves, in Sho's frozen world, he looks like he is standing still. He cannot lay a finger on him. Sho just keeps taunting that he can never win, but giving up was never an option for Shinra.
Knave this whole time. Where did you even learn that stupid word? Here's an idea. Show some respect and call me brother! Ah! You've really gone and done it now! Let's do this, punk. One way or another, I will catch you.
You've got this, big bro!
You're not my bro!
So Sho turns the whole fight into a cruel game of tag and orders his little brother to run. When Shinra tries to hit back, Sho knocks him flat and calls it against the rules. He has no interest in playing along with this tomfoolery. But Shinra did not come down here for fun. Refusing to lose, he forces an adult link with Sho, and the connection makes him faster. Every time his feet tingle, his speed spikes, and he realizes that borrowing the evangelist's grace through Sho can make his own flame stronger. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Shinra throws himself forward. Sure, he can do this. Then Shinra remembers the two other times feelings bled into him through Adola links. Lieutenant Conroe's cry for help and Dr. Giovanni's bloodlust. This time, he decides he is the one charging in. Sho keeps telling him to run before he gets himself killed, and demands to know why Shinra will not stop. To Sho, there is no bond between them at all. He was raised warmly by the superiors around him, while this stranger chases a child's face he cannot forget. Shinra thinks back to his family in Company 8, who chose to believe his brother was still alive and swore to help him hunt the evangelist. His captain told him this is the only family he has left, so keep him safe. Sho hears none of it and calls the whole thing rubbish. Then Shinra pours out his heart. After losing Sho and their mother, he spent his entire life wishing for just one more chance to see them again. Now Sho is standing right in front of him, alive, and to Shinra that is nothing short of a miracle. He cannot afford to give up now. With nothing left but raw speed, Shinra pushes harder than ever and simply disappears. Shu stares in disbelief. Somehow his little brother has stepped into the motionless world where time itself is frozen. Far away, the endless earthquakes are rattling other fire soldiers. An old veteran called Lieutenant Onyango has been dragged out of retirement to hold the line. Quietly, he admits he never wanted Shinra Kusakabe to find his way here. Back in the frozen world, Sho is at his limit and cannot find him anywhere. Then Shinra reappears far across the battlefield, having blown right past him. Sho cannot understand how his brother moved all that way in an instant. Shinra swears their game of tag is not over yet. Nobody can fully explain what he is doing. When his body crosses a certain speed, it shatters into invisible particles, and yet something impossibly puts it back together, the same kind of power that lets Sho cool the entire universe. Who is this evangelist behind it all? He attacks again, and this time Sho cannot even react. He may be moving faster than light, sending time backward to rebuild his own body after it splits. But at that speed, he could tear open a black hole that erases the whole Tokyo Empire. The scientist watching decides witnessing this is a dream come true. Then Shinra finally does the impossible. He steps into the stopped world and lands a clean hit on Sho, with an Adola burst that never received the evangelist's grace. His secret is simple. If his feelings are strong enough, he can link to Shu, and because Shu is tied to the evangelist, Shinra reaches that grace straight through his brother. The cult lights up with excitement because this is the awakening of a fourth generation. Sho freezes time by cooling the universe, and now Shinra freezes it by outrunning light itself. Their two frozen worlds finally match as equals. Shinra tells him to bring it on. The fight becomes a blur that even Haumea can barely follow. Sho finally snaps, screaming that he is not Shinra's little brother and to stop showing up and playing the part. He tries to lose him with a blind game of tag by clapping. Shinra's speed starts to drop, but he growls that he can keep going. Sho declares it over, telling Shinra his flame is overheating and the evangelist needs it. But the scientist screams the terrible truth. Every single time Shinra stops time, he splits his own body apart. He is basically dead already, and if he overheats mid-split, he will atomize completely and may never come back. Told he might never return, Shinra laughs, which only disgusts Sho. He is not smiling out of fear. He is genuinely happy just to be playing with his brother again. He swears he will come back because he is not leaving Sho alone ever again. Abandoning him twice would make him a failure as a brother. This is a brother's determination. An old legend opens the story. As the world drowned in ash, one man appeared, later called Raffles. He took his disciples and searched for light, and at the end of his journey he found an unsullied flame, the salvation of all mankind. But right now, Shinra is deep inside an Adola vision, chasing his little brother. Sho has grown cold and hollow, and begs him to stop playing at being his brother. Shinra refuses. He keeps forcing his memories into Sho's head, trying to drag the real him back. Every memory pours in, even the ugliest, the whole town screaming that he is a devil. Shinra clings to the promise he made their mother, the bond that holds their family together. But Shu only asks what promises and bonds even mean. Shinra admits none of that matters now. He just wants his brother back. The visions replay the accusation that has haunted him 12 years, that he burned his own mother and baby brother alive. Shinra swears it wasn't him, that someone else stood in that fire. He tells Sho they are the same. Two brothers who once could smile and now cannot. Sho snaps that he has no past and needs none. Then a memory Sho lost begins to surface. 12 years ago, they were a family. Their mother making hamburgers and telling her boys she loves them, and a young Shinra rushing in every time baby Sho cried, promising his little brother that his big brother is a hero who will always be in his corner. Back in the vision, Shinra apologizes for leaving Sho alone in the dark for so long, and reaches out to carry him somewhere bright. And Sho finally remembers. This man is my brother. Let's go home, Shinra says. But the moment they snap back to reality, one of the white-clad Haumea is already there. In the chaos, Shinra loses control of his own speed and impales himself on his blade. The white-clad realize he carries a rare Adola burst and move to withdraw with his body. Then they spell out their plan. The great cataclysm that burned the world 250 years ago was only a misfire, and by gathering Adola burst, they mean to ignite it all over again.
He'll definitely need you in show.
Stop that! Why are you telling him all this?
Whoopsie doopsie. Who cares? It doesn't actually matter what he knows. He still won't be able to stop us. But anyway.
Sho turns on his own allies and demands the truth about the fire 12 years ago. He unleashes his power to cut time itself, but nothing happens. Haumea has quietly severed his link, and Sho collapses to the ground. A weakened Shinra roars in fury as Haumea gloats over him. Then reinforcements crash in. Arthur and Lieutenant Hainua arrive, Arthur swearing that he alone gets to put this devil down. Haumea's power hijacks the nerves through electric signals, but Arthur's plasma jams her completely. Her technique fizzles against him, and even as her partner shouts that they are out of time, her weapon shorts out in her hands. Hanawa holds Haumea at bay while the others drag Shinra clear. Then a deep tremor rocks the underground, the doing of the evangelist, and the white-clad seize their chance to vanish with Sho. Shinra can only scream for them to give his brother back. Shinra is dying, but they swear if he holds on he can see Sho again. They rush him to Special Fire Hospital 6, a healing company for the Holy Soul Temple, where Lieutenant Asakusa calls for the one person who can save him, Captain Kyoko Wong. Obi lays out the grim truth that the Evangelist and the White-Clad have been building man-made infernals to hunt the world-ending Adoya flames. Then he begs Huang to save his crewmen. She warns it will be brutal, and that even if he lives, he could be left paralyzed. Huang has never touched a flame as sacred as an Adola burst, so there is no telling what will happen. Still, she promises to do everything she can. In the operating room, she prays to Soul, pulls the blade free, and summons her healing power, a flaming serpent she calls the Rod of Asclepius. Her serpent feeds on Shinra's own flame to heal him, and his Adola burst proves astonishing, burning through the wound like it is nothing, but it costs him everything. He has spent all his flame regenerating, and Huang warns he may sleep for days. 3 of them pass. Then Shinra opens his eyes, starving and asking for rice. His first thought is Sho. He saved him, but has his brother already been dragged back to the Evangelist? He should be watching the sky beside Sho, and the thought makes him curse. A visitor is waiting. Captain Burns, come to check on him personally. Shinra is stunned that a captain would travel all this way for a lowly second-class soldier from the 8th, but Burns just offers him a quiet checkup chat. Then Burns names it. That fire, 12 years ago. Shinra realizes Burns has known who he was the whole time. Burns was the fire soldier at the scene that night. He admits that if he had reported the truth, Shinra never would have carried the stigma of killing his own family. Shinra doesn't care about his own name. He demands to know if Burns knew Sho was alive and knew the Evangelist had taken him. Burns answers yes to both. Shinra explodes. If he had known, he never would have left Sho trapped in that darkness for 12 years. Burns tells him the real fluke is that he survived at all. If Shinra truly is not the same broken boy from 12 years ago, then he had better prove it. Come at me, the captain says, and the challenge hangs in the air. Shinra is finally out of the hospital and back on his feet. The squad rides him about Arthur going off the rails while he was gone, torching a stack of paperwork with Excalibur. Beneath the jokes comes a quieter reminder. With his brother weighing on his mind, he is not alone anymore. He walks the halls of Company 8 to a hero's welcome. Iris is glad he made it out okay. Tamaki nearly bowls him over, and Maki and Hinawa are just relieved the Adola burst inside him is safe. Nothing, it seems, can kill this problem devil.
Well, look at you. No big surprise that heaven rejected a devil.
So you're still here? They haven't gotten sick of having a brainless knight around yet?
Captain Obi welcomes him home, and Hina wastes no time putting him back to work. The incident reports on the Nether can wait until he reports to Captain first. Second-class fire soldier Shinra Kusakabe is officially back on duty. Rewind several weeks. Shinra is supposed to be on strict bed rest, but Captain Burns of Company 1 has come calling, and the two are already trading blows. There is no stopping it now, and no talking Burns down. Burns is an old-fashioned hardhead, the kind who settles everything with a heavy fist. Shinra demands to know why he was never told the truth, but Burns holds firm. A fire soldier acts on duty, never on personal feelings. Then Burns ignites. By stoking the flame inside him and pushing that heat through his whole body, he becomes a walking mass of fire, an embodiment of flame so fierce the weak simply die near him. He will not share the truth unless Shinra proves he is strong enough to hear it. Shinra fires back. You came here to tell me what happened 12 years ago, so quit screwing around. The rookie throws everything he has and calls his own captain a damn liar. Burns is unimpressed, mocking his resolve as no better than a candle flame. Do not mock me, Shinra snaps. I have got so much more than this. He proves it. As much as he has always hated flames, Shinra became a fire soldier for one reason, to learn the truth. Burns feels the sting of that resolve in his own arm and finally relents. You have grown strong. Very well, I will tell you everything. What Shinra thinks he knows about that fire is a lie. The group serving the Evangelist, the same enemies he just fought, were already active 12 years ago. Back in solar year 198, the girl called Haumea and her people came to the area, tipped off that a new Adola burst was about to be born, and the cause of the fire was never Shinra. The source was his baby brother Sho, whose own Adola burst erupted the night the cult came to welcome him. It was that burst, Burns reveals, that awakened Shinra's third-generation powers in the first place. Then comes the blow that breaks him. The horned infernal Shinra saw that night. The demon he has spent his whole life swearing to hunt down and destroy was his own mother. He came all this way to kill the very thing his mom became. Burns walks him through that night. He reached the fire 15 minutes in and knew something was wrong, because the flames would not die no matter how much water hit them. He led his third-generation soldiers charging inside to find survivors, and there was little Shinra, screaming that his mom and Sho were still in there with a demon close by. But the whole scene was staged. A body dressed up to look like the mother had been set in place, and the cult's Charon and Haumea were pulling the strings, with Haumea in Cold's terrifying control of it all. Inside, Burns finds the Infernal and a baby as the ceiling comes down. Shinra's powers have only just awakened, and his flames are still too weak to be any threat, so the monster ignores the boy. In that hell, an Adola link burns itself into Burns' right eye and never fully fades. Then Burns kneels down and tells the boy the words that will shape the rest of his life. Your mother is dead, and so is your brother. It was a lie, and Burns admits why. He wanted to keep Shinra out of it, so he made him fear and hate flames, hoping the boy would bury his powers and stay far from this world. Shinra tells him it worked. He does hate them because flames took everything from his family. And yet, Burns notes, it was those same flames that carried him this far. His business done, Burns reveals the price of that night. His right eye paid for seeing the flames of hell. He never saw the mother again, but it lights something in Shinra. If the Adola link once let Burns see that Infernal, then maybe it could let Shinra see his mother again. He just has to figure out how to link. And he thinks he knows where to start. Shinra notices that Lieutenant Asakusa of the 6th is the spitting image of her grandfather, Captain Soichiro Haig of the 4th, and asks for a meeting. If anyone understands the Adola, it might be him. Shinra lays it all out for Obi. The demon he believed was his enemy was his mother. The brother he buried, Sho, is alive. If Burns is right, the evangelist cult was tangled in his family's tragedy from the very start. And if his mother is still out there as an infernal, Shinra makes the vow that will carry him into everything ahead. He will find a way to turn an infernal back into a person.